unjust discrimination. Unjust discrimination. Modifiers are always useful and important. The Pope also, later in the day, I thought this was interesting and underreported, when he was at the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle, can't speak this morning, he praised the Roman Catholic Church in America for its unfailing commitment to the pro-life cause, saying it was the primary reason for his visit to America. The primary reason.
Well, now here, this is what I wanted to ask you, because you're always on top of this. Why was that not broadcast? Was it a private meeting that he was having where the pool camera wasn't invited?
No.
Because I was looking for that. I mean, I'd heard that he brought that up and was talking about it, and that was a primary reason for his visit, but it wasn't broadcast.
Well, no. This was an address to the assembled bishops of the United States that was widely covered. The focus of the media was on his statements regarding the church sex abuse scandal. But included in his address was his statement that the pro-life cause, the primary reason to visit this country. So it's something to note for conservatives as well, who are focused on what the Pope has to say on the issue of ecology, specifically invoking the phrase climate change, as he did. As well as on economics, where I disagree with some of the statements the Pope has made. I think the Pope has a little bit of a blind spot when it comes to economics in terms of the destruction that government has wrought, and even governments that he knows very well, like the Argentinian government. But it's just worth noting what the Pope said his primary cause for coming to this country is, against the backdrop of a discussion going on in Congress about not only defunding Planned Parenthood, but shutting down the government over it. That's why the Pope says he's here. Underreported, kind of important.
First time hearing of it, but thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Well, I mean,
I'm serious, because I did not know that before I came to work today.
Yeah, and so in his additional remarks the Pope made at the White House, and we just played a snippet from, he did mention air pollution. But again, what the Pope is setting out is the universally desired ends. The means as to how you get there is not his domain, as it were, and he doesn't comment with any specificity on it. He said, I find it encouraging you are proposing an initiative for reducing air pollution. So we all want to reduce air pollution. Now, how you go about it is where the devil is.
Well, isn't he asking for self-responsibility and not be a throwaway culture? And protect Mother Earth. I mean, if you can recycle, why not recycle?
I don't know if he uses the term Mother Earth, but
that's a little crunchy, a little progressive, but
it's a little secular, is the point.
Oh, and that too. Yes.
But he talks about our common home. He did mention that, and we need sustainable and integral development, for we know that things can change, and so on and so forth. But this is consistent with his encyclical on topic. But again, as we've discussed previously on this show, which you'll hear nowhere else, included in that encyclical where everybody obsesses about climate change, and is he endorsing the Kyoto Protocol, or is he endorsing Obama's confiscatory environmental gambits? Included in that encyclical is a focus on human ecology. So if you're going to throw away human life, if you're going to demonstrate no dignity towards human life, as we do in this culture in a variety of ways, some of which the Pope is intimating, then talking about plastic bags is way down the list of priorities, and that's lost in some of the conversation that we're having, including, as I said, among conservatives, because we're so focused on debating what the Pope is seeming to indicate in the areas of environmental regulation and wealth redistribution.
Today is the first time ever that a Pope will be addressing Congress. Is he going to have a progressive agenda there, talk about immigration reform? Because yesterday, a 5-year-old girl, Sophia Cruz, if you haven't seen her picture yet, you will see it sometime today. She was there yesterday lining the streets of Washington, D.C. Her parents put her over the fence, and she brought Pope Francis a letter and a T-shirt. And she just asked him in that letter to pray for her family because her parents are undocumented workers. And so now, this morning, we're learning that the Pope has invited her to sit to watch his speech before Congress, where he told her and her family that he's going to be talking about immigration reform.
Well, he's going to talk about immigration reform. Describing that is describing him as a politician again.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
And I reject that characterization. Here's how the Pope talks about this, because he talked about it.
I'm just telling you what happened. I'm not characterizing him as a politician. I'm just saying that when she reached out to him, he invited her because he told her family that he's going to be talking about immigration.
I heard you. But immigration reform is not how I describe it. Here's how I describe it, and I'll use the Pope's words because he offered them in his remarks at the White House. As a son of an immigrant family, I'm happy to be a guest in this country, which was largely built by such families. Yeah, right. That's true. True statement. He's not going to discuss whether or not we should allow 70,000 or 100,000 refugees. It's not his province. His province is to lay out a vision for a peaceful world where we're all, frankly, brothers and sisters in Christ, and that we show respect and provide love for one another. In terms of specific policies, does he favor a path to citizenship? This is not. This is not. This is not right. This is not how he speaks. This is not his province. This is not his loyalty as to the American political process or to the policy discussion the media wants him to have, so they can kind of categorize him as left or right or as in this position or that position on a particular issue. He's just not going to do that because that's not who he is. I mean, the funniest thing is seeing politicians try and go biblical on the Pope. Jeff Sessions, the senator from Alabama, said he is going to attend the speech because there were some discussions that some senators or members of Congress are going to boycott the speech, including
There's
Sessions.
One, Congressman Gosar from Arizona, Republican. He is not. He's going to boycott the Pope's speech today.
Well, that's a mistake.
Yeah, that is.
And but Jeff Sessions said, talking about the issue specifically with respect to immigration and whatever he might have to say on topic, he said, I think he's probably not sufficiently informed. And I would say that despite some of the biblical things, Nehemiah went back to Jerusalem and the Lord commanded him to build a wall. I don't know if you want to get into a theological discussion with the Pope or have kind of biblical instruction as it pertains to temporal immigration policy, but it's kind of fun. I don't think we need to get as worked up about the Pope's message as some conservatives are in a policy sense. Greg and LaGrange, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. I was telling your call screener, I mean, we had the same issue at church about the immigration walk. And as ushers, we asked the question, well, what's the problem with the immigration laws? And to a man and a woman, they said, well, it's too hard for illegal aliens to become citizens. Well, they said undocumented workers. We said illegal aliens. And we said, well, what exactly is so hard? Well, they have to wait too long to become citizens. That's why they come here. They have no opportunities. And then when we ask them, well, why can't they go through the legal system? Why can't they pursue the process of changing the laws if they're too difficult? We get hit with the old, are you a Catholic?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the call, Greg. I understand it. And that's part, the discussion you can have in church. That's a discussion you have among yourself. I thought Kevin Williamson had a good piece on Pope Francis, again, pointing out where there is disagreement on certain indications he has made about public policy. But he writes in National Review Online that Pope Francis presents us with an interesting challenge. What do we do when we find ourselves in a political disagreement with a good man? We've had bad popes, no doubt, but it's difficult to make the case that Pope Francis is one of them, and that he is motivated by malice. Errors, surely. Ignorance, without a doubt. But wickedness, please. So I think that's a kind of an important point of restraint when it comes to analyzing and overanalyzing everything the Pope had to say yesterday or during the rest of his visit to this country.
This is The Morning Show. More Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today. It's another day of warm weather, a high of 74 degrees. And tonight, lows in the 50s once again. And Friday, partly sunny, just a gorgeous day. Highs in the mid-70s. Let's get the travel times and see where the sticky spots are. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. On the Ryan outbound, there's still overnight work in place past Garfield. Locals.
with countless other people of goodwill. They are likewise concerned that efforts to build a just and wisely ordered society respect their deepest concerns and the right to religious liberty. That freedom remains one of America's most precious possessions. And as my brothers, the United States bishops have reminded us, all are called to be vigilant, precisely as good citizens, to preserve and defend that freedom from everything that would threaten or compromise it.
The official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one get one free offer, visit mypillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Please use that promo code Joe. Do it now, 1-800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com, promo code Joe, 1-800-489-0201.
Your audiovisual experience is one that's supposed to be enjoyable. If your home or office lacks the big-time performance you really need, it's time to be shocked with options from Sound Design. Sound Design has the technical background to build it all. They know the value of seeing a project through to the end. And Sound Design will stick with you until you're satisfied, even post-job. Home theaters, office video, and sound design. Sure, you can go order equipment from a big box store, but then what? Yikes. Sound Design knows they set the industry standard. This is a company that will take a potential new customer to a current customer space to show off their handiwork. That's why people rave about audio and visual solutions from Sound Design. Be sure to get a demo of the Bang & Olufsen speakers where sophisticated, sleek design meets amazing sound and function. You can visit sounddesigninc.com, but if you really want expert answers to your questions, call 630-548-7000. That's 630-548-7000. Sound Design, where quality service and installation makes the difference.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-503-6673. That's 1-800-503-6673. 1-800-503-6673.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so a good example of what we keep talking about, how the media wants to fit Pope Francis into their box, was the questioning from the Washington Press Corps of House Speaker John Boehner about the Pope's visit. Here's what Speaker Boehner had to say about the visit in response to is his remarks are they going to influence you to pass climate change related legislation?
Could you comment on the Pope's encyclical on climate change, and will it spur congressional action?
Well, one thing we know about this Pope is that he's not afraid to challenge everyone's thinking on issues, frankly, one way or another. And I admire his dedication to the poor and his work to protect the sanctity of life. And frankly, I respect his right to speak out on these important issues.
But it won't spur any action by Congress?
There's a lot of bills out there. I'm not sure where in the process these bills may be.
That's a no.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just the kind of the Pope said something, so you're going to translate that into public policy, trying to interpret exactly what specifically he would want you to do. I mean, it's just all sort of silly.
Yeah, but climate change is the reason why that third-term Republican Paul Gosar of Arizona is sitting out. He's a Roman Catholic, but he says there's a flawed climate change policy, or he doesn't believe that there's one. So he's sitting out, and he's encouraging other members of Congress to do so. And that is just silly and juvenile. And why would you miss out on a chance, if you're a Roman Catholic, to listen to the Pope? I mean, and maybe learn something more about the man, maybe about your own faith by listening to his words.
There's no question. I mean, to turn the Pope into a one-dimensional political figure like he's Al Gore, just going on, he's going to go on a harangue about climate change and the combustion engine when he addresses Congress is just nonsense. I like Representative Gosar, but he's wrong on this, in my opinion. Interesting other note here. President Obama invited Sister Simone as part of the welcoming party at the White House for Pope Francis yesterday. Sister Simone was an Obamacare advocate. Well, Pope Francis, again, this is a little bit under-publicized. I wonder why, but Reuters did catch it. Pope Francis made an unscheduled stop to the Little Sisters of the Poor.
Yeah.
The convent of nuns who sued President Obama and sued Obamacare for the contraception mandate. The Vatican spokesman said it was a brief but symbolic visit. Remember, his primary purpose here is the sanctity of human life.
And yesterday, too, I was so glad there were supposed to be protesters for the canonization of that 18th century monk who started missionaries here.
Right.
And guess what, Dan? There was only one person, and thank goodness the media did not cover the one person and turn it into a big protest, because it wasn't. It was just one single person, but they're expecting hundreds of people to protest it, and no one showed up but one person.
Was it that Native American with the tear running down his eye from back in the day? And on the north side, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I'm afraid to say what I'm going to say. But, I found him like a Kennedy Catholic. Like, I hope he doesn't, we don't look too deeply into what he's saying, but what we hear is like, I hope he doesn't vote in this election because he sounds like, a Kennedy Catholic. And are the bishops here promoting him to have Kennedy agenda? And doesn't he influence the young voters to vote his way? Climate change and all that. Aren't the young people directed to vote Democratic?
Yeah, thanks for the call in. I don't think the Pope's going to be voting in this election because he's not, an American citizen. Probably won't be around either, even for early voting. Number two.
Well, if he was a Chicagoan, maybe he could vote.
Sure, right, absentee. Yeah, right. Number two, I hope he does influence young people to vote and vote pro-life.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders. As well as contact us, we will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers. End the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, dueling press conferences and the Patrick Kane investigation and shocking new information, but who do you believe? We'll discuss.
And President Obama's in a Twitter war with a 13-year-old boy.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Saudi Arabia's Civil Defense Directorate says at least 150 people are dead in a Hajj stampede. There could be, according to some reports, as many as 220 who have died. The directorate says at least 400 other pilgrims were injured. The stampede happened on the outskirts of the holy city of Mecca. U.S. Supreme Court justices, lawmakers, and guests will pack the House chamber today to hear the pontiff speak to a joint meeting of Congress for the first time. Republican presidential candidate Rick Santorum doesn't necessarily see Francis's comments at the White House as being political.
Life and family and the environment, all of these things are integrated together into a whole as he sees them, as the Catholic Church sees them. And so I don't see them as distinct political issues. And I think if you read it that way, you're not getting his point.
Santorum on Fox News is on the record. Chinese President Xi Jinping heads to Washington, D.C. today. He's expressing a willingness to work with the U.S. on cybersecurity issues. The Senate is scheduled to vote today on a measure that would fund the government through December 11 and try and defund Planned Parenthood. That measure is expected to fail at the hands of filibustering Democrats. Several commercial pilots say bright lights coming from San Francisco's brand new 49ers Levi Stadium makes it a major safety hazard. Complaints filed with the FAA say commercial pilots have been blinded by those lights. One pilot telling NBC her night vision was completely impaired when light from the stadium flooded the plane's cockpit. Schools remain closed today in Prospect Heights District 23. Teachers continue to walk picket lines. Officials say the union did not meet to vote on the board's best and final offer on Wednesday. Classes canceled today at 3 schools in the Elgin area: Eastview Middle School, Larkin High School, and the Educational Services Center, following the discovery of the bacteria that can cause Legionnaire's disease. In what could be a final blow to the proposed Ileana Expressway, the Federal Highway Administration has dropped its appeal of a court ruling against that tollway. Detroit over the White Sox 7-4. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 4-1. MLS, Montreal topped the Fire. NHL preseason was the Red Wings over the Blackhawks. The news, a service of Unbound. Poverty doesn't discriminate. It feeds on the forgotten. At Unbound, they believe in the collective wisdom of society's oldest and most vulnerable members. Providing sponsorship for the elderly is just one way Unbound is different. Learn more at unbound.org. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
The Joe Walsh Show.
You see, I believe we should be at war. I know Democrats are at war. They wake up every morning and they think about, and then they go to war on how can they take away more of what you make. Man, our founding fathers would be disgusted with us.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
At Galaxy, they'll help make the house you have into the home you love. Right now, get kitchen or bath cabinets, 2 for the price of 1. Contact Galaxy 773-783-8300 or galaxyhome.com.
Hi, I'm Brendan Burchard. Some people call me the world's highest paid motivational trainer, and some people call me crazy because I've just authorized a nationwide giveaway of my 2015 New York Times bestseller, The Motivation Manifesto. That's right. In the next 24 hours, I want to give away as many free books as possible. To get your hardcover copy, call 1-800-605-9211. If you want to reach your true potential, personally, professionally, or financially, you need this book. You'll discover how to stop feeling tired and overwhelmed, identify the major enemies keeping you from living your dreams, and learn the secrets to defeating them. I'll teach you my proven strategies to start attaining the levels of drive and personal success you're craving. Financial freedom, emotional freedom, time freedom. In the next 24 hours, I'm giving away as many free books as possible. Due to high demand, I can only offer 1 per household. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call now. 1-800-605-9211. 1-800-605-9211.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
Your product is terrific. I feel great. More energy. I've lost some weight. I can think clearer and faster. Everything that he said, Dr. Howard says it does on the program, it does, and then some. Boy, oh boy, I feel terrific. Nothing compares with this. Honestly, I know people always say this in testimonials, but this is the God's honest truth. I feel like a man 20 years younger.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
536 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. CTA reports some delays on northbound Red Line trains after a mechanical problem on a train at 47th. Service is getting back on schedule. Inbound Ryan, a little slow from 18th into the Burns Circle, about a 3-minute delay. Bishop Ford, about a 3-minute delay from 111th to the Ryan. The other expressways and tollways are still looking good. Traffic is a service of City of Chicago's Blue Cart Recycling Program. In case you missed it, empty juice cartons and chicken broth cartons belong in the Blue Recycling Cart. To learn more, visit chicagorecycles.org, and remember, recycling, it's not trash. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solutions provider. Partly sunny and pleasant today. High near 74. 58 at O'Hare, 64 along Chicago's lakefront. It is 55 in Aurora, and your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so
Wow.
must every criminal investigation and or trial of a celebrity turn into a circus? Apparently the answer is yes.
Yeah, this one has. I mean, yesterday we had dueling press conferences between Patrick Kane's attorney, who called one after the alleged victim in this case. Her attorney came forward with some damning allegations about the rape kit evidence bag that somehow, Dan, ended up on her mom's front porch at 1:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Yesterday, the rape kit evidence bag was anonymously delivered to the home of my client's mother. We know this to be the evidence bag that once contained the rape kit evidence. We know this because the bag has a label on it. It contains my client's identity. It contains my client's birth date. It contains the location where the rape kit was done, and it confirms the nurse's initials who performed the rape kit.
Yeah, in all my years, 18 years of covering murder, sex assault, sex abuses, I have never seen a case like this, where an evidence rape kit ends up on someone's doorstep and it's empty and it looks like it was folded up and crumpled as if it was thrown in the garbage.
Yeah, well, that's in dispute. That's the bag that contained. This includes the evidence in the rape kit and the packaging itself. The evidence has been analyzed and reports of that analysis sent to the appropriate agencies. So one of the questions is, and I mean, I would assume the state's attorney is going to bring somebody in to investigate this, is that bag that was left on the accuser's mom's doorstep, is that the actual evidence bag? Is that some kind of fake? Is somebody pulling a joke? Is somebody trying to send a message one way or the other, to a message to the accuser, a message in terms of defending Kane, essentially, or a message to the accuser trying to impugn Kane? Boy, I don't know what to make of this. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is. But if the rape kits, they look similar to a grocery bag, a paper grocery bag. I don't know how you could replicate a rape kit.
Well, you could if you're on the inside.
I know, but why? This is so crazy. I know people love Patrick Kane in Buffalo. He walks on water. He is a hockey god. Was it one of his hockey fanatic fans that broke in maybe to a lab, or maybe this is a hoax and replicated the rape kit evidence bag? But it is just so embarrassing, I think, for the victim, because her attorney said this yesterday, that there is victim bashing going out there. And I say that because information has been released about DNA evidence in this rape case like I've never seen before. You wait until trial. You wait until a grand jury does or does not hand down an indictment. You don't try this in the media, and that's in the public, and that's what they're doing. And it's just, I have to agree with the alleged victim's attorney that this is victim bashing.
In this case, it has been absolutely devastating to my client. This is supposed to be a secret investigation. People in the media, and I'm not saying anyone here, have been discussing people's semen in her undergarments. She is absolutely devastated. This is a classic example why rape victims don't come forward in rape cases.
Well,
this is the worst example of victim bashing that I have seen.
And she lives in a small town.
I don't
And
think
everybody knows who she is in that small town.
Well, right. And is the media interested in getting all this information? Or are they interested in restraining themselves until the investigation has been complete? It's been turned over for the grand jury, and the grand jury renders a decision. What's the media's perspective on this? Are they using every possible ploy and relationship and they have to try and get information before authorities want to release it? Or are they just waiting back?
No. The two reporters from the Buffalo News have been very aggressive on this case and released information.
So let's not pretend the media is not culpable.
Well, on Monday, they released information saying the DNA found in her undergarments did not match Patrick Kane's, but the bite mark did, and there was Patrick Kane's DNA underneath her fingernails. And her attorney yesterday said we don't have all the information, and that is not the information that I have been given. And when there was talk too of a civil case that they'd maybe settle, and her attorney has never heard anything about a settlement.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I'm a criminal lawyer. Those who know me for 30 years, I have never settled a monetary case in my life. We know the family. They came forward and asked me to help walk their daughter through the very difficult process, and that's what I was there for. I don't even know how my name got in the paper, but I can assure you I am the last lawyer in town you would go to settle a civil case.
Well,
you're an attorney, so help me.
It's possible that they have a plaintiff's attorney as well that they've retained, but it seems that's the one thing that both sides agree on, that there have been no settlement talks despite the reports previously that the grand jury had been postponed, the convening of the grand jury had been postponed so they could have civil settlement talks. That seems to be a story that doesn't have any basis in fact based on what both sides are saying. And when both sides are agreeing, there's either something surreptitious going on or the story was just wrong. And I don't know which it is, but it sounds to me like the story was wrong.
So once the accuser's attorney, Thomas Ionua, came out, then Patrick Kane's attorney quickly assembled the media at his office. Here's attorney Paul Cambria.
Is this the evidence bag? If so, how did it get out of the lab or wherever it was? How did it get to her house?
Right.
Who would in some way want to claim that there's something wrong with the evidence unless it was someone who was unhappy with the results?
So who does this benefit? As an attorney, who does?
It doesn't benefit the prosecution. It doesn't benefit the accuser at all.
Okay.
Because if that was the actual the packaging for the rape kit, then what does a criminal defense attorney say? Well, you can't establish chain of custody, so it's inadmissible. So that benefits Patrick Kane. That's why this is the idea that somebody did this to benefit Patrick Kane makes no sense, or to hurt Patrick Kane. No,
I think they're doing it to help Patrick Kane. I think some sicko fan was like, I'm going to help Patrick Kane.
To help Patrick Kane.
Because now I want to see the real evidence bag that's allegedly in a secured spot right now.
But here's the thing. How would that help Patrick Kane? Because the rape kit came back inconclusive. I mean, is that
there was one thought that maybe he wore a condom during the sexual assault. I know it's graphic, but it did show, according to the Buffalo News reporters, it did show DNA in the bite mark and DNA under her fingernails.
Right, but
that doesn't really help.
Yeah, so I mean, I think inconclusive is a fair read, and inconclusive evidence when the standard is reasonable doubt for a criminal prosecution and conviction, that doesn't seem to be something. Well, we have to submarine this piece of evidence. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. The thing that is more logical, not that logic has any place with something so stupid, whoever did this. But the logical thing is this was some kind of prank or hoax or like a way to, essentially ridicule the accuser.
Well, that's a great question because somebody asked her attorney if this was a hoax.
If you're looking for a surefire way to scuttle the prosecution, you may tamper with the evidence. Maybe some good Samaritan came forward and provided that to us to give us a tip of what's going on. I mean, again, I've been around a long time. I have a former prosecutor in this room with me today. He's been around for 30 years, and our 60 years combined, never have we seen one outside of a courtroom, let alone show up on a doorstep.
Yeah, I mean, it is
creepy.
It's so bizarre. But I mean, I go back to say, look, if you have the police commissioner, the county police commissioner, aver that they have all the evidence, including the rape kit, in its original packaging. They've got the analysis and the reports that's been sent to these agencies. Then this, to me, seems to be just a sideshow. If he's going to swear to this in court, then the evidence that's been gathered is the evidence that will be presented if they decide to actually reschedule this grand jury at some point. I don't know why they would, because this case is going nowhere.
I know. And you know what I think, though? This is a script for CSI or Law and Order. I mean, this is what Hollywood shows are made of. You have two dueling rape kit evidence bags.
Why not Criminal Minds?
Okay, fine. We'll go with yours, Criminal Minds.
What about, is Murder, She Wrote still on?
Angela, no.
John in Woodstock, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning.
Hey.
Something you guys just said something that I found really, really interesting. When this thing first broke a day or two ago, it was said that the DNA, it's actually said there was Patrick Kane's DNA was not present in the genital area or her undergarments. Just a minute ago, one of you said the DNA did not match. Now, I don't know which one is accurate, but they're very different things. And assuming that the DNA did not match, that means there is DNA present. Well, who else was there?
No, they were. Somebody came out, and this was local in Buffalo, saying that there was other DNA from possibly one or two other men, and her attorney yesterday shot that down as just rumors. But remember thanks for the phone call, but remember what Patrick Kane said before training camp started, because these words might come back and haunt him.
I am confident that once all of the facts are brought to light, I will be absolved of having done nothing wrong.
I would be. He didn't quite say that right, but I know what he's trying to say.
What did he mean to say?
I will be absolved of doing nothing wrong means you will have done something wrong. But yeah, well, no, I don't think they're going to come back to haunt him. I mean, I don't know. We'll talk to a criminal defense attorney at 6:35, but I don't see how the prosecution moves forward with this case based on what we know. And again, as always, law enforcement and the state's attorney knows a lot more than we know. But this case does not seem to have legs to me. If there was additional DNA, though, on the clothing, I wonder if Bill Clinton is consulting a criminal defense attorney.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today, warm, a high of 74 degrees, and we're going to have a repeat tomorrow on Friday, same conditions. And it's just, we have a string of gorgeous days, so enjoy while you can. Over the weekend, both days will be sunny and highs in the mid to upper 70s. Travel times, here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Morning, Dan. Eden's fine. 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose to Kennedy. Clear sailing at 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound the same. Inbound Eisenhower. Slow starting around Manheim. It's 31 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. The inbound Stevenson has a 2-minute delay or so between Harlem and Cicero. Inbound Rye getting heavier. 20 minutes. 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford really slow. 111th to the merge. It's 25 minutes. 80-94 to the Rhine. Outbound fine at 15. Tollways look good. I'm Jim Talamonte. ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Traffic Center.
Choosing a real estate agent to sell your home is one of the most important decisions you can make.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know what it takes to sell your home.
The Wall Street Journal ranked Ed at 88th in the entire country for closed listings.
I know that there's no gimmick to selling your home, just a strategic marketing plan and the confidence needed to make your transaction successful.
Chicago Agent Magazine recognized Ed as the #1 rank in Will County.
You can hire anybody to list your house, but you'll need the local market knowledge that I have to sell it.
When Ed saw market trends change, he was ready and promptly received a RE/MAX of Northern Illinois Trendsetter Award.
Sure, it takes awards, but it also takes a lot of effort. So why would you try to sell your home with a we'll sell your house or buy it from you kind of agent? If an agent has to promise to buy your listing, then something's seriously wrong.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
If you're ready to drop your phone plan due to dropped connections, now is the time. It's the grand opening of Wireless Zone in Westmont from 5 to 8 p.m. on Thursday the 24th. Make the switch and keep your current numbers for your cell and home phone. Plus, get a $300 activation credit. The Westmont mayor will be on site, along with reps from your favorite product lines. A raffle, refreshments, and prizes lead the grand opening of Wireless Zone, 131 West Ogden in Westmont at 5 p.m. on Thursday the 24th. 630-541-3461.
If you're a business owner or HR executive, you should be thinking about and dreading Affordable Care Act compliance at the end of this year. Hi, I'm Parker Conrad, co-founder and CEO of Zenefits, the all-in-one HR system for companies with 5 to 1,000 employees. I started Zenefits because I didn't like dealing with the paperwork, compliance, and administrative hassle of running a small business. Zenefits makes this problem go away for everyone. And now, Zenefits is taking on Affordable Care Act compliance. Even if you offer health insurance to your employees, that's not enough. You need to track employee hours, calculate who's eligible, fill out and file a bunch of paperwork with the IRS. Don't worry, we do it all for you. We track everything, we do the math, we fill out the forms, and we file everything with the government. Be one of the tens of thousands of companies that don't have to worry about Affordable Care Act compliance because Zenefits does it for them for free. Check us out at zenefits.com. That's ZENEFITS.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, the President of the United States, that's Barack Obama, is in a Twitter war with the future President of the United States, 13-year-old C.J. Pearson.
No, wait, what is a president doing in a Twitter war with a 13-year-old boy?
Got nothing but time, and he is very thin-skinned. I don't know if you've noticed. He does not like criticism, and he's not going to take any guff from C.J. Pearson. C.J. Pearson, he's this 13-year-old black kid in Georgia who has done a couple of videos criticizing the president very eloquently, I might add. Here was his most recent offering that apparently drew the ire of the President of the United States and his minions.
This is going to be quick because, in all honesty, I think I can do through this quick and still make my point. Now, Mr. President, when Kate Steinle was gunned down by an illegal immigrant, you didn't do anything. You didn't even call the family. You didn't invite them to the White House. Is that okay? I don't think so, Mr. President. And to go even further, Mr. President, when cops are being gunned down, you don't invite their family to the White House. You never did. But when a Muslim kid builds a clock, well, come on by. What is this world that you're living in? You know, when the shootings in Chattanooga happened, it took you longer to lower the flag to half-staff than it took you to light the White House in rainbow colors after the SCOTUS decision legalizing gay marriage.
And it goes on from there. It's very pointed, very persuasive. I find it persuasive, although I started out by agreeing with him. So C.J. Pearson, 13 years old, he launched a petition to get an interview with the President of the United States, and he was using his Twitter account to garner signatures.
Yeah.
He also is trying to vie for a speaking slot at the 2016 GOP convention, and I say,
give it to him.
Prime time.
Yeah.
Maybe, depending on who our nominee is, maybe as a proxy for the nominee. Using his Twitter account to garner signatures for this interview with the president, he found out that the President Obama's Twitter account, POTUS account, President Obama, had blocked him.
Really?
Yeah,
wow,
he
that's
blocked
a
him.
big sign of insecurity right there.
I would say.
Do you even block anybody on Twitter?
No, bring it on. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it becomes like, profanity or pornography or something, but I mean, in terms of criticism, no.
You're
I love
okay.
it. Bring it on.
I blocked one person, then I unblocked him.
Was it C.J. Pearson?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How did you know?
So yeah, and the other thing too, I mean, if CJ is not careful, President Obama has also threatened to write a nasty Yelp review of him.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I was coming out of the hardware store when I saw him. An old man, late 70s, hunched over in the freezing rain, no hat on his head, limping across that slippery parking lot, and pushing a row of shopping carts toward the cart corral. It's heartbreaking. Millions of hardworking Americans simply don't have enough money to retire, so they just keep working and working and working until it's too late. Hi, I'm Chad Stubbs. president and CEO of PowerTrader, and I believe that's just plain wrong. That's why I'm now distributing to the public absolutely free copies of PowerTrader's game-changing book on how regular folks can make the money they need to retire fast. For your free copy, call 1-800-400-0360. Don't let the lack of money rob you of your retirement. Call now for details and get your free copy of this book before it's too late. 1-800-400-0360. But hurry while supplies last. 1-800-400-0360. 1-800-400-0360.
If you're an Illinois resident, why is the number 6,963 important? Find out at upstream-ideas.com. So often on this show, we talk about the important issues that affect your world, like the economy, education, foreign policy. But because there's always so much going on, we don't have time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. It's one of the reasons I'm involved with the website I mentioned, along with the Illinois Opportunity Project, called Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com. At Upstream Ideas, you'll find info that will inform the policy discussions we're having here, because we broaden the parameters of debate and move beyond the same old partisan assumptions at Upstream. We challenge accepted orthodoxies and debunk some of the faulty premises that inform the rules on which our free society is based. In other words, we're pushing against the current and thinking upstream. And speaking of against the current, check out a religious freedom roundtable I recently did that was posted this week. We'll ask, why are the conditions the way they are, and how can those conditions be improved at Upstream? So go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. With each visit, you'll be armed with new info and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the good old USA just a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized.
Imagine what you would do if your business had a surplus of utility savings. More than 30% of your building's annual energy use comes from your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical service provider, understands that you have better things to do with your money. There are new energy incentives offered by Chicagoland's largest utility provider that could help your business save hundreds, even thousands of dollars every month in utility costs. As a preferred partner, Air Comfort works closely with your business. They will identify the opportunities to reduce energy usage, select, purchase, and install equipment, and even help you complete and submit your incentive paperwork. Start saving on your utilities by calling now for your free consultation at 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900, or online at aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Isn't it interesting how liberals always complain about separation of church and state, except when the Pope's on their side? We'll talk to Mary Hassan, a fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center at 6:06 about the Pope's visit.
And is the entire Patrick Kane case in jeopardy after a rape kit evidence bag is found at a doorstep? We'll ask Matt Hickney, who's a criminal defense attorney, at 6:36. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. High Legionella bacteria levels found in Elgin school cooling systems. A life sentence handed a man convicted in the shooting death of a Chicago police officer. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
I'm Dave Anthony. They can't get enough of the Pope in D.C.
I just can't believe how many people have turned out to see him. Everyone's just so fond of him.
People started flocking to the Capitol before dawn to get a glimpse of the Pope. He'll address Congress later. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
This is like a State of the Union address. Members of Congress and Supreme Court justices expected to be there. Then Pope Francis will make an appearance on the balcony of the Speaker of the House. The faithful are eagerly anticipating his speech before this joint meeting of Congress. These people would like him to call on lawmakers to work together.
We just have to act as one whole community.
Our congressmen and our representatives are servants of the people.
Pope Francis canonized an 18th century missionary as part of his first Mass in the U.S. Later today, he'll be in New York, and then the Pope will head to Philadelphia. Dave.
Rachel, a disaster for Muslims making a pilgrimage to Mecca. Fox News Radio's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, at least 310 pilgrims are dead and more than 400 others injured when a stampede happened in Mina during a ritual called the Stoning of the Devil. Mina is a large valley some 3 miles from the holy city of Mecca. Rescue workers continue to search for survivors and help the wounded onto stretchers and load them into ambulances. In 2006, more than 360 pilgrims died in a stampede in the same region. It's the third day of the Hajj and some 2 million people are taking part. Dave.
Jessica, Volkswagen scandal's growing. Germany's transport minister says the automaker cheated emissions tests with diesel cars in Europe, too, not just the U.S. Donald Trump's still on top in the Republican race for president, leading Ben Carson 26 to 18% in a new Fox poll. Vice President Biden surges, even though he's yet to enter the Democratic race.
Support for Biden has almost doubled since last month. But make no mistake, we still find Hillary Clinton at the top. She is still the front runner.
Fox's polling director Dana Blanton. Clinton has 44%, Sanders 30%, Biden 18%. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
We had some clouds this morning, 58 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. School will remain closed in Prospect Heights District 23. Teachers there continue to strike. In spite of the board's best and final offer Wednesday, the union is expected to meet with membership later today. The lawyer for a woman alleging she was sexually assaulted by Blackhawks player Patrick Kane says an empty evidence bag was improperly left at the doorstep of the woman's mother's home. Thomas Ioannou said the bag at one point may have contained the rape kit used when the woman reported that she had been assaulted. Ioannou, the attorney representing the woman accusing Kane, wants authorities to investigate evidence tampering.
On behalf of my client, I will be requesting an independent law enforcement investigation by a separate law enforcement agency into how this breach could have possibly happened.
Erie County District Attorney Frank Sedita did not immediately return messages. Police have been investigating Kane since early August. Classes are canceled at 3 Elgin area schools, Eastview Middle School, Larkin High School, and the Educational Service Center, following the discovery of bacteria that can cause Legionnaire's disease. A Chicago man is accused of helping a young couple with a gruesome murder while they were vacationing in Bali, Indonesia. The FBI says Robert Bibbs has been charged with conspiracy for advising his cousin Tommy Schaefer and girlfriend Heather Mack on how to kill the woman's mother, Sheila Von Weiss Mack. Detroit over the White Sox, 7-4. Milwaukee over the Cubs, 4-1. The News is a service of the City of Chicago and Cook County. Suspicious activity can be found anywhere. Help keep our community safe. Call 855-RPRT-2S4. If you see something, say something. From the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications and the Cook County Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager validates his opinion of Hillary Clinton.
Here's one of the funniest articles that was not meant to be funny that I have read in a long time. Asked to name something tangible that Hillary Clinton has actually accomplished, many voters come up blank. Is that hilarious? That is a news story from the Washington Post. I've said that the whole time. The woman has accomplished nothing.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to a Sharia total equipment coverage as of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
.605, time to have Air Comfort check your building's mechanical system. And it's time to check the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Itasca, Irving Park Road is closed right now at Rollwing. There's been a crash. There's a utility pole down there, so Irving Park shut down in both directions. The Kennedy has an outbound delay, Foster to Sayre, about 23 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound still fine at 20 minutes. The Edens is clear. Inbound Eisenhower, 33 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30. The Stevenson is 39 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes from 8094 to the Ryan. Traffic and service lead-safe America. Do you live in an historic home? Are you renovating? Your children could be at risk of lead poisoning. It takes just a microscopic amount of lead dust to poison a child. Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solutions provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Partly sunny today, high 74. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Then partial sunshine tomorrow with a high 74. And a moonlit sky at night with a low 57. For Saturday, sun and some clouds, high of 75. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58 at O'Hare, 63 along the lakefront. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here in the United States, we cherish religious liberty.
With countless other people of goodwill, their deepest concerns and the right to religious liberty.
Hillary is a birther. Hillary is the one that started it. Check it out, 2008.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. Thank you for joining us. You know, I'm in an uncomfortable position, or unusual position, I guess. I'm in the position with Pope Francis's visit to the United States of having to push back against a lot of my ideological brethren, a lot of conservatives who, not Catholic mainly, but nonetheless conservatives who are none too keen on what Pope Francis has had to say about environmental regulation, about economic policy in the area of income distribution, about essentially some even arguing that he lost his moral authority when he stopped over in Cuba and spent time with the Castro brothers. They forget that Pope John Paul II, on that last point, they forget that Pope John Paul II, a virulent anti-communist, visited Poland many times, and Jaruzelski, the president at the time, who was a puppet of the evil empire of the Soviet Union. So, I think you have to look at the Pope in a different light than you look at politicians. And I just see a lot of people having trouble with that, except the left that loves the Pope now, hates the Catholic Church, loves the Pope because if they take up his pet issue, then all of a sudden things like the separation of church and state, the altar they actually pray on, don't matter so much. It's very interesting. For more insight on what Pope Francis has said and what he may say when he addresses Congress today, we're now joined by Mary Rice Hassan. She is a fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center in Washington, D.C., where she directs the Catholic Women's Forum. She is the editor of a new book, Promise and Challenge, Catholic Women Reflect on Feminism, Complementarity, and the Church. And she's also a Notre Dame undergrad, and law school. She also, this award, I want to start there. She received the award, St. John Paul II Award for New Evangelization in 2015. And I think that she was given that award because she and her husband are raising 7 children. I'm not sure on that. Mary Hassan,
that's a full-time job.
Yeah, right. Thanks so much for joining us, Mary. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Dan and Amy. Great to be on.
So why should we not look at the Pope and analyze what he has to say about issues of policy concern and cultural concern? Why shouldn't we not look at him like we look at a politician appearing on Meet the Press?
Well, for one, he's not a politician. He is a religious leader, and he's speaking to the conscience and to the soul, not just of Catholics, but to the American people in his visit here. And I think it's a mistake to try to put Pope Francis in a straitjacket. It's sort of the straitjacket of the two platforms of our parties, the Democratic platform or the Republican platform. He's not interested in that. He's here with a primary message, and that's the importance of people and the importance of acknowledging God as our creator, and a lot flows from that.
Well, he addressed the European Parliament and he talked about values and human dignity. And do you think that he's asking lawmakers to look inside themselves and see what they are doing when it comes to passing laws?
Yeah, I think very much so. That's a really good insight, Amy. I think he's all about saying, let's be consistent. Let's be concerned for the human being here, because human dignity comes from God, and he doesn't shy away from saying we have to acknowledge our Creator. But even as he spoke at the White House, he looked at President Obama as he spoke about religious liberty, and what he's saying is the church needs space and freedom to do what it's good at, which is caring for people and bringing souls to Christ.
Right, and he's not walking back at all, much to the chagrin, I suppose, of the Washington Press Corps and others. He's not walking back from church teaching on marriage, church teaching on the dignity of life, but he is trying to take, it seems to me, the war out of the culture war when he said, for example, that harsh and divisive language does not befit the tongue of a pastor. It has no place in his heart when he addressed U.S. bishops.
Right. I think the way to think about it is the what hasn't changed. Church teaching is the same, but Francis is saying very clearly how must change. In other words, how we bring people to this message, how we share the gospel. So it's a matter of how, not what. And he's very firm on the need to protect the innocent victims of the unborn. And even if his conversation is talk about the environment, is because it harms people when we don't care about the earth. And we're not acknowledging God as creator when we just disregard how we treat the world that he's given us. So we really have to not just look at his words on climate change from kind of a democratic lens that sees that only in terms of policies, because he said to the American bishops, he's not about giving them specific strategies or making their priorities or plans. And the same thing I would say to all of us, or to politicians. I don't think he's going to be talking to the members of Congress today and telling them, you need to pass this legislation.
Right.
You know, he's going to speak to their hearts and say, be people of integrity here in fulfilling your mission and care for the most vulnerable.
But don't you think he's going to talk about the compassion of immigration and maybe immigration reform? I mean, you had little Sophia Cruz, the 5-year-old girl who traveled from L.A. to Washington, D.C. She delivered a plea to the pontiff. She gave him a letter because her parents are here illegally. They're undocumented workers. And now she's been invited to listen to his speech today. And what do you think? What do you expect him to say?
Well, first of all, I think we have to be careful not to. There's a lot of political maneuvering going on to try to position the Pope on one side of the aisle or the other, and I think that's a mistake. I think he is going to talk about immigration because of that concern, that overriding concern for the person and the vulnerable, and those who are here illegally, those who are undocumented. They're vulnerable to a whole lot of exploitation and difficulties. So that's a problem we have to solve. But he's not there to say, here's how you solve it. We have to figure that out, and we have to have that commitment, I think, on both sides of the aisle to say, there's a problem. People, we've got to do something here to help these people, but we got to hash out the details.
The Pope referred to the church as a field hospital to heal wounds when he addressed the bishops. One of those wounds, of course, is the sex abuse scandal. And I found it interesting. I'd like to get your reaction to the statements he made, that he made any statement whatsoever, and the statement he made about the church sex abuse scandal, applauding, frankly, the U.S. bishops who are left to pick up the pieces for their courage in dealing with the sex abuse scandal in the church. And that has, of course, been a subject of much criticism against Pope Francis for addressing it and suggesting that any bishops or any church elders had demonstrated courage even in the wake of what happened.
Well, I think it's a misreading of the situation to think that the American bishops have sat on their hands and done nothing to address the situation. Of course they have. In fact, the protections that the church has instituted in the wake of the sexual abuse scandal far outstrip what you see in the public schools, what you see in many nonprofit institutions. I mean, they really have set the standard, and the Pope is acknowledging that. And so he's not saying there wasn't a problem. He's saying, all right, when it got your attention, here, you've addressed it well and continue to do so because, again, the priority of the person, caring for the vulnerable, and certainly those who've been exploited at the hands of the church in one way or another, are vulnerable and need healing. And so he's recognizing that the church has done far more than many, both public and private institutions, to address this scourge.
Now, after he speaks before Congress, he's going to Catholic charities and he's going to meet with some homeless people. And what do you think they're going to learn from him?
I think they're going to feel the love of Christ. I think they are going to just experience that joy and that care and that sense that they have dignity, they are valued, and somebody really cares. And that is the outstretched hand of our Savior, and that's who the Pope represents. And so he's bringing that message to those people individually whom he will meet, but also that example to all those who will see. And hopefully the rest of us will reach out in a similar way.
You know, what's your take on it? I always find this so interesting because the Catholic Church is the source of so much criticism, and in our political culture, it is repudiated by many, it is ridiculed by many. Yet when Pope Francis comes, a lot of those vicious tongues go silent. What is it about Pope Francis and frankly even previous popes that kind of that transcendent quality? How do you describe it, even among the most vociferous critics of the church and church teaching?
I think when you're in the presence of someone who really, truly exudes that love of God and that attentiveness to the person right in front of them, it does silence that critical heart, that critical spirit, because it's an overwhelming thing. You look at Pope Francis as he's at all these little stops, meeting people. His eyes are just lit up with love and joy, and he's reaching out. So he's personifying that embrace of the Lord that says, come into my church, and let's talk. Let's talk about those difficulties.
She is Mary Rice Hasson, a fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center. She is where she directs the Catholic Women's Forum. She's also the editor of a new book, Promise and Challenge, Catholic Women Reflect on Feminism, Complementarity, and the Church. Mary Hasson, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Dan and Amy.
Larry in Oswego, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, Dan.
Hey.
I'm one of those, I grew up Catholic that you commented on earlier that's, has some problems with this Pope. And he seems to be more, commenting more on the evils of capitalism than he is on communism. And he wants us to take in these Syrians as pilgrims. I mean, have you seen how the chaos they're creating in this invasion in Europe?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do we want to bring that here? And secondly, why is he not inviting them to Argentina or Rome? Why is it our responsibility? I mean, and you're not discussing that either. And that's some other issues that people who, have concerns with.
Yeah.
Well, the Pope is preaching compassion for those refugees. I mean, don't you think? That's what I've heard him saying. I know Obama and Putin are actually meeting in New York on Friday to discuss the issue. So,
Yeah, I think he's, the way I look at the stuff, and look, I disagree with some of the things he has said about economics and income distribution or to the point, redistribution. He is not infallible in the realm of economics or environmental policy, but I think we're looking at him and saying, well, what, as a policymaker rather than as a spiritual leader. I think he's speaking to our hearts in terms of the kind of sensibility we should bring to the policy discussion. So, for example, I want America to be a haven for those people that are seeking asylum from oppression. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I want to invite terrorists
jihadists
over here that mean to do us harm. Well, that's not sensible at all. So I think it's left to us to fill in the blanks. But the question is, what heart do we bring and sensibility do we bring to the policy discussions? So that's why I focus on the Pope as a spiritual leader, not as somebody who I'm going to vote up or down on what he would suggest we pursue in terms of climate change or federal immigration policy or federal tax policy.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
String of gorgeous days, summer-like conditions in the beginning of fall, so we can't complain here. Pleasant today, a high of 74. For tomorrow, Friday, more of the same. And Saturday and Sunday both look terrific. Nice and warm days with highs in the mid to upper 70s. Travel times, let's see how the inbound Kennedy and inbound Ike shaping up. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Inbound Kennedy, a little slow Cumberland to Sayre, 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. Edens, delays are from Devon to past Peterson with a crash in the left lane. 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Eisenhower's 38 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 34. The Stevenson now 44 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan 22 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57. 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 25, and the eastbound Adams Tollway really jamming up from 59 to 53 with road work on the exit ramps to 53. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
It's that time of year again. The kiddies are back at school. Hope abounds for a winning Hawkeye football team. And homeowners across the Chicagoland area are noticing structural foundation problems. And the team at Permaseal wants to help you recognize the signs of foundation issues. Are you noticing doors or windows that no longer shut properly? How about new cracks in your drywall, plaster walls, or exterior brickwork? Are your floors uneven? Well, these indicators can be a sign of damage to your home's foundation. If you've noticed any of these symptoms, give Permaseal a call at 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free appointment with one of their certified structural consultants. The problem will only get worse, believe me, so don't wait for more costly damages to occur. Permaseal consultants have been trained by the manufacturer to evaluate your foundation problems and offer you a permanent solution. Don't spend a lot of money investigating the problem. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL. to schedule a free, thorough foundation analysis. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net. Permaseal is known best for being better.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. They really are just like your original ones. What you probably don't know is that not all implants are the same quality, and there are a lot of unqualified people doing implants.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one. I was happy with it. So I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. You'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
I really enjoyed test driving that car, but I don't know if I can afford it.
Well, you can qualify for a low interest and payment auto loan, depending on your credit score.
I don't even know what my credit score is.
You should go to Credit Sesame. They give you your credit score for free and so much more. In fact, you can check it right now.
Yes, at Credit Sesame, we help turn your credit score into the key that unlocks the things you want. Like that new car. We give you a free credit score and so much more. You get free credit monitoring and alerts, personal loan analysis and recommendations, money management tips and tools, all to save you money and help you reach your goals. Plus, identity theft protection, absolutely free. No credit card required. So do more with your score. Get started today. Visit freecreditsesame.com. That's freecreditsesame.com. freecreditsesame.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
The hits on Pope Francis keep coming. Text from 630, the Vatican silent in the initial years of the Holocaust. So is the Pope silent about the current killings of Christians by ISIS.
Not true.
And that's not true. He has spoken about that numerous times. I mean,
yeah, especially when those 24 Egyptians were beheaded, the Christians. He had a sermon that following Sunday praying for them and their families.
Another text, Sean from Elmwood Park, lighting up our text board. People really buy this Pope infallible crap, huh? It's amazing to me people are so willing to subjugate themselves. Well, Sean, the Pope subjugates himself to God. He calls for us to worship God as well. We don't worship the Pope, and he doesn't worship himself. Sean, a Trump supporter, obviously has that in common, self-worship. Speaking of income, speaking of income redistribution, how about this story from the New York Post? The average New York City school janitor makes how much a year, do you think?
50, 60,000.
110.
Whoa.
100.
I hope that's not his first year on the job.
I mean, it's
is
the
that
average.
a tenured janitor after they write their dissertation?
It's the average of 737 custodians. 737 custodians in the New York City school system. $110,000. Now I know New York City has a higher kind of cost of living than does Chicago.
Much higher.
Well, rent control, another genius policy. But I don't think it's double, maybe 10 or 20%. So think about janitors here making
how much?
$90,000, $100,000.
Were you ever friends with your high school janitor?
Sure, Reuben.
Was yours Reuben?
Well, no, it was grade school, St. Mike's. Reuben, I remember Reuben. Yeah.
I remember Eddie from Hersey High School. Hi, Eddie, if you're listening.
Well, Reuben
Big shout out to
Reuben
Eddie.
was a nice guy and a great janitor, and and again, we always talk about this public sector.
Hardworking.
I expect people to maximize their earnings and attempt to do so, but can you afford $110,000 janitors? Think about what the teachers and superintendents are making, and that's part of the same problem we have here. And I'll just remind people to go check out this new Illinois State Department of Insurance pension portal that was set up. You go to the Illinois Department of Insurance and search pension portal, and you'll find the website from Addison to Zion. You can look at your police and fire pensions in the community in which you live, and you look at those numbers and you tell me if something is not out of whack with how we're financing K through 12 education from soup to nuts in this state, just as New York City is doing.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Thank you to all of our listeners who have purchased thousands of MyPillows over the last 18 months and are enjoying your best sleep ever. But that still leaves thousands of you who haven't taken advantage of the buy one, get one free offer. What are you waiting for? It's so important to get a great night's sleep. I'm absolutely addicted to MyPillow. It conforms to my neck and back. It helps with chronic neck and back pain, insomnia, allergies. Plus, it's washable, American-made, and it keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer, visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Please use the promo code Amy. Do it now, 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy, 800-489-0201.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer...
criminal defense attorney Matthew Hickey takes time away from hanging out with his criminal friends to join us to talk about the Patrick Kane case at 6:36.
And later, Trump declares war on 2 new targets. So we'll tell you who and what coming up later. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Spanish Fire.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Top diplomats at this hour of Britain, France, Germany, and the European Union meeting in Paris. They're trying to sketch out a possible new diplomatic push to end fighting in Syria. More than 300 others have been killed and hundreds more injured in a stampede at the annual Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia. The crush happened in Mina, about 3 miles from the holy city of Mecca. Pope Francis delivers a message to members of Congress later today when he travels to Capitol Hill. A big day for the Pope in the White House. His first speech in the States, and a new state in 3 different languages. as Fox News Radio's Courtney Walsh reports.
The Pope spoke in English at the White House, encouraging more on immigration and climate change, but also weighed in on religious freedom. Later in Italian, he thanked his bishops, but told them to be united and show more mercy in their mission. Finally, he celebrated Mass at the Basilica in D.C., making Spanish Friar Juniper Serra, an evangelizer of native Indians in the 18th century, the first Hispanic saint. The Pope has another full dance card: Congress, the homeless, a flight to New York, and then Vespers at St. Patrick's. Traveling with the Pope, Courtney Walsh, Fox News Radio.
Schools remain closed today in Prospect Heights, District 23. Teachers there continue to walk off the job. Officials say the union did not meet to vote on the board's best and final offer on Wednesday. An investigation is underway after a father and daughter were found dead in Barrington in what authorities are calling a murder-suicide. Harry and Catherine Burrows were discovered Tuesday in their home. A man is recovering after he was shot while driving on the Bishop Ford Freeway. State police say the shooting happened late last night near 130th. The victim wounded in the leg and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And classes are canceled at 3 schools in the Elgin area following the discovery of the Legionella bacteria. Eastview Middle School, Larkin High School, and the Educational Services Center were evacuated because the bacteria were found in cooling towers of each building. Tigers over the White Sox 7-4. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 4-1. MLS, Montreal beat the Fire. NHL preseason, Red Wings over the Blackhawks. The news, a service of the City of Chicago and Cook County. Suspicious activity can be found anywhere. Help keep our communities safe. Call 855-RPRT-2S4. If you see something, say something. From the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and the Cook County Department of Homeland Security. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains how Trump has earned the right to be the front runner.
Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, has earned his status, his front runner status, fair and square. He didn't steal it. He hasn't lied. If anything, he's been refreshingly honest. Now, Trump may not be a conservative the way I'm a conservative, but certainly his supporters are.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Buffalo Wild Wings wants to make you football rich. That means delicious new items like their shareable B-dubs, potato stack, food that's not just good, it's rich. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
I'm Steve Sidkowski, a former Wall Street insider. I'm holding a book that will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at 80, you need to read this free book. It includes the strategy I use to make a 72% profit on a trade where the stock only moved 12%. You'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-550-9335. Skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-550-9335. 1-800-550-9335.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers over 90 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-400-9257. That's 1-800-400-9257.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 90 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-400-9257. That's 1-800-400-9257.
6:35, and in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center, the very latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Irving Park Road and Itasca is closed, approaching Rollwing between Lloyd and Rollwing due to a crash, which knocked out a pole. Eastbound Adams Tollway traffic is jammed, 59 to 53. The ramps to 53 are down to one lane due to construction. Eden's inbound stop and go Niles Center past Peterson with a crash in the left lane. 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose outbound 22. Kennedy, 27 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, 38 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 34. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 35 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford, 25. Traffic service of the Foundation for a Better Life. She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but gave her all. Compassion, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life, values.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solutions provider. Partly sunny and pleasantly warm today, high 74. Partly cloudy and mild, 58 overnight. 58 at O'Hare, 63 at O'Hare, at the Lakefront, and 55 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPainChicago.com. World-class treatment for chronic pain. Go to MyPainChicago.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, I've got some good news and bad news for you in the law and order front.
Okay.
The bad news is it doesn't look like Patrick Kane is going to get the lethal injection
that I wanted.
That you wanted for him. So that's the bad. He's not going to be put down.
Well, I just threw out his jerseys. It's all right.
The good news is Caitlyn Jenner, he's not going to be prosecuted for vehicular manslaughter, according to TMZ. The outlet of record when it comes to celebrity justice.
Hey, Harvey Levin, he's an attorney. He runs TMZ, and he's on it. He's rarely wrong.
He's on something. There's no question about that.
I love Harvey.
Well-placed sources, according to TMZ, connected with the L.A. County DA's office, tell TMZ that the people assigned to review the case determined Jenner's conduct was negligent, but not criminal. Of course.
Sounds like a civil suit.
Sounds like
it's already been filed.
Sounds like the board of governors at ESPN is what it sounds like, or maybe.
But when he hit that car, he was still Bruce and not Caitlyn.
Maybe he had Matt Hickey as a criminal defense attorney. Matt Hickey, the law office of Matthew J. Hickey, P.C. Not politically correct. He is. I have him on retainer when I decide to turn to a life of crime, which probably will be soon. Matt Hickey, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Thanks for having me. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
So, kind of a bizarre development in the Patrick Kane case. What would you do if you were? Well, let's play out both sides. What would you do starting in the role that you actually play as a criminal defense attorney, the work that you do? What would you do if you were Patrick Kane's criminal defense attorney responding to this event of this alleged evidence bag that had contained the rape kit of the accuser winding up on her mom's front porch?
Well, I would, first of all, the idea that you're going to take a criminal investigation before it even gets to the level of determination of probable cause and bring it into the press and try to the press is a mistake. We can't have private lawyers prosecuting citizens. The realm of prosecution is simply for the district attorney, Mr. Sedetta, and for this private attorney, who's all he can do, all anyway Iowanu can get is money out of this situation. You have to remember that. He's talking about a civil lawsuit. He can't force police to do anything. He can't force this to go to trial. So if I'm Patrick Kane's attorney, I have him sit in and say, listen, we got this beat. You got nothing to worry about. Stay out of the news and keep your head down.
Yeah, but this attorney, Thomas Iowuna, he's a former prosecutor, criminal defense attorney, said yesterday, I've never, ever been a part of a civil case. I've never heard of a settlement. I'm not part of that. Do you believe him?
I believe if he says that he never settled a case, that's quite possible. But if he gets on the TV and he's proclaiming justice and he wants justice, well, if you want justice, then you don't interfere with the criminal investigation. There's an old saying that if you don't have the facts and you argue against the system, it kind of seems what he's doing. The revelations of what happened with the DNA evidence that Patrick Kane was excluded in certain areas and that there might have been more DNA in other areas makes it a bad case for him. And so what he's got to do now is go attack someone other than Kane. And in this case, I think it's going to be the Erie District Attorney or the Hamburg Police Department.
If what the police commissioner in Erie County said is true, and he said that all evidence related to the case is still in their possession in its original packaging, including the evidence of the rape kit and the packaging of the said rape kit itself, if that is true, would you expect that the prosecutor would move forward and even present what they have to a grand jury for consideration?
Sure. This prosecutor is running for state Supreme Court, so I think that he's got a incentive to get it off his plate, make it not his decision, and give it to a grand jury to let them decide. If it goes with the current evidence, I doubt that there'd be an indictment. If there was an indictment, it certainly can't raise the level of beyond a reasonable doubt. This is just a situation where really he should have just sat back. As far as the bag goes, I don't know. When this first came out yesterday, I first thought that he was saying that it was the actual rape kit evidence bag, with the actual evidence in it. And now I see that it's just the bag. I think we have to apply Occam's razor, to say that where could this bag have come from? This was found in, he says, his client's mother's house. And the client's mother didn't call the state police, didn't call the detective who was investigating this case, didn't call the Hamburg police. She calls her lawyer.
Well, in her defense, that's what I would have done, too. I mean, I don't know if they trust police at this point in time because they feel that there's a lot of victim bashing going on.
Sure.
But how could there be? I mean, we've all been around the block a long time. I've never heard of 2 rape kit evidence bags. And on the evidence bag, which the attorney showed, to the media, and there was a close-up, her name was on it, her birth date, which was, redacted, the hospital where she went to get the rape kit conducted, and the nurse who performed the examination. Sure. And there's no dispute that is the nurse who performed the examination. That's the hospital she went to. This just seems like a cruel hoax because I've never heard of anything this crazy.
I've never heard of anything this crazy either, but I have heard of situations where someone's released from the hospital and they're given all their stuff in a bag.
I want that. Good point. I have seen that too.
And also, Amy, I just wanted to correct you on something you mentioned earlier, referring to the DNA coming back as a bite mark. There's been a lot of talk about DNA on her shoulders. I don't recall anybody saying a bite mark, nor has Kane's lawyer said that he's been asked to submit to a bite test, which would indicate that it's not a bite mark, just some sort of other DNA. So I just wanted to clarify that.
And so, as to that DNA that was found under her
under her fingernails,
right? That also doesn't seem like it's that compelling in terms of evidence either. What do you make of that aspect of the DNA conversation?
Yeah, I know that Patrick Kane has luxurious hair. She might have been running her hands through his hair.
Yeah.
And he's a Stanley Cup winner. A lot of people like to shake hands with Stanley Cup winners.
So even if you shake somebody's hand, you can get DNA under your fingernails?
Yeah, I think so. You shake their hand and scratch your hand, your own hand. That DNA that was on your hand would transfer under your fingernails. Sure.
But yesterday, her attorney did come forward, and I don't know, can I play this soundbite where he talked about other things that I've never heard of, that there's other DNA found in the genital area of not one, but possibly 2 different suspects, and he shot that all down as rumor. Have you ever, in your time as a criminal defense attorney, seen so much alleged evidence released from a rape kit before?
No, that is unusual. Usually everybody waits until the formal findings, and then we all are acting off the same report. But I don't believe that Cambridge would just make up that they gave him information. I will say this, though, as far as the veracity of that information. A lot of times I represent a lot of people charged with DUIs. And the police officer who then takes the people to the hospital will just get word from the nurse of what the BAC was, writes that down, and then later we find out it was nowhere close to that. So sometimes when information is just transferred by mouth, it can be, it's the post office game. Every person says it, it's a little different. So we should wait till the final report.
Well, and the other thing here, too, is, as compared to most criminal cases, nobody's paying attention. But here you've got international media paying attention and everybody trying to get the inside scoop for their media outlet. And so all of this information that is being disseminated and the rumors and innuendos that are flying back and forth. So it just makes it that much more difficult if you're representing either side, I would think.
Absolutely. And think about so there's the public interest that people want the information, and there's also the incentive of going after a guy who just signed an $84 million contract.
Yeah.
So, let's not forget the basics of a lot of people's motivation in life. And we know nothing. We know nothing yet, but he's innocent until proven guilty. This is a horrific thing to either have happened or to be accused of. And so let's take extra time to make sure that if we are going to accuse somebody or try somebody of this, that we actually have some probable cause to believe they might have done it. That, as far as we know, does not exist yet.
Well, it seems to me some chain of evidence has been broken, but her attorney is asking for an independent investigation. Do you think he'll be granted that?
Possibly, just because this is such a heater case. But it's really, again, it's not his place to be doing this. Well, he's interjecting himself in a situation that is supposed to be to the realm of the prosecutor.
Well, and if
but he said he wouldn't have come. He wouldn't have come forward had this evidence bag not shown up on his client's mother's doorstep.
Yeah, but
allegedly.
Yeah, but also too. I mean, look. At the end of the day, we can cut right to the chase. If what the police commissioner said, if they have it, if they can prove up all that the evidence is still in their possession, then it's kind of, and they present it to the court, or they're willing to sign an affidavit to that effect, then aren't we done with this? And then it's a separate thing to find out who placed that bag there, and
why?
But it's irrelevant to the investigation and to the potential case at hand.
Absolutely. Even more reason than why would you ever bring a press conference and subject your client, your client's family to this ridiculousness, really. If he found this and the mother found the bag and she called her lawyer, then that lawyer should have called the state investigator or someone and dealt with this privately. And then down the road, if you have a trial or you're facing a lawsuit after the trial, you bring it up. But this is the wrong way to do it.
Well, yeah, actually, right. So to that point, if you were, again, representing the accuser, would you have tried to confer with police first to say, I got this bag.
Where's your bag?
if you don't have it, then we got a big problem. So, tell me what you have or don't have and, involve Kane's attorney as necessary as well.
Absolutely. You want full disclosure. You want clean hands coming to the situation. And then he mentioned that he talked to multiple ex-DA people and people in the sex crimes unit. How about talking to the present one?
Yeah,
How about calling them and finding out the people who are actually in charge of the investigation what's going on with this bag? It just seems smoke and mirrors to me.
All right. All right. He is Matthew J. Hickey, attorney at law, criminal defense attorney. Matt, thanks so much for joining us. We'll let you return to hanging out with your criminal friends now. And by that I mean, your colleagues in the bar. That's what I mean.
That's right. And get your retainer in, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, we're just going to have a string of gorgeous day. Mostly sunny skies, a few high clouds, a high of 74 degrees for today, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Monday, we're going to get into the 80s. So summer's not over yet in fall. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Zion. Green Bay Road is closed 9th to 173. That's due to a crash. Irving Park and Itasca closed. Lloyd to Rollwing with a crash. The eastbound Adams tollway's a total mess from 25 to 53. Traffic is packed solid. The 53 exit ramps are down to one lane. Eden's 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 22. The Kennedy 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 45. And Von Eyck 49 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop outbound 39. Stevenson 50 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive and outbound 44. Ryan is 22 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, there's scattered delays. Southwest Highway to 31st, and it's slow from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Wall Street ready to listen today as Janet Yellen speaks. A report on new home sales and Nike's earnings. Those stories next.
2 little tablets is all it takes to make your thin hair feel and look thicker and fuller. Guaranteed. Viviscal is the #1 drug-free hair growth supplement in the U.S., with 1 box being sold every minute globally. It's clinically researched to promote existing hair growth for men and women. And now a 90-day supply of Viviscal is offered in your area risk-free plus free shipping. Call 800-970-7643. Viviscal nourishes thinning hair from within. You'll love your hair growth results, guaranteed. Viviscal is so effective, it's recommended by top doctors. Here's Dr. Grant Stevens, board-certified plastic surgeon.
I feel confident recommending Viviscal to women with hair loss, thinning hair, or even dry or brittle hair. It's 100% drug-free, and it's backed by years of clinical research.
Want to try Viviscal? Every listener that calls now gets a 90-day risk-free supply plus free shipping. Call now, 800-970-7643. 800-970-7643. That's 800-970-7643.
Investors looking for stocks to rebound today after a choppy trading session yesterday. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P all closed lower. Federal Reserve Chief Janet Yellen speaking at the University of Massachusetts. The topic of the speech, inflation and monetary policy. Nike giving investors a glimpse of how the economic slowdown in China is affecting business. Nike out with its earnings. And KB Home will post its quarterly profits. The latest figures on new home sales forecast to come in at 515,000 for August. That would be up slightly from July. The latest report as well on durable goods orders. Investors looking to see whether crude can rebound from its 4% loss yesterday. And watch platinum prices. Platinum closing at a 6-year low because of Volkswagen. Platinum used in diesel vehicles. Traders worried car buyers will turn on both diesel and Volkswagen. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You know what I love about summer? Baseball. You know what I love about baseball? It's a game of probability. You know what I love about my team? Not much, because baseball is a game of probability. The odds of our starting pitcher lasting 3 innings? Slim. The likelihood we'll be mathematically eliminated before July? High. Okay, so maybe I'm not a fan of the probability of my team going above 500. But I am a fan of the fact that with some planning and a little help, I was able to influence the probability that I could retire and stay retired. Maybe our pitcher should consider retirement. Just saying.
Ready to make the game-changing decision to put a plan in place for your retirement? The Mutual Fund Store can help you do just that. Connect with us today for a free review of your investment portfolio or a second opinion on your investments. The person you'll be having a cup of coffee with is right here.
Hi, I'm Steve Jack with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
I really started it from an advertisement, more for my husband than for me, but I decided we should both take it, and I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, that's a wonderful success story.
I know.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, let's talk innovation and transportation. One interesting, the other kind of disturbing. The first, the active wellness seat. The world's first health monitoring car seat, brought to you by automotive suppliers Fiorina.
Wait, a health monitoring car seat?
Uses a biometric sensing system built into the seat lining that can detect if the driver has a drop in energy levels or is under stress, and it responds with a specific massage pattern along with airflow through the seat's ventilation system.
Can you please get that in your car?
I want it for my home.
Can you just get a bodysuit of it And then you'll just get a free massage. Does it come in
a
a Swedish massage?
I don't know all the particulars, but
That sounds
well,
good.
next time I upgrade to a well-appointed sedan, I'm going to ask him about the active wellness seat. Now, this story is bizarre. I honestly didn't know this was a problem. It's alleging to be a problem. A school district in Lancaster, California, is now using biometric iris scanners on special needs buses to prevent tragedies like the recent death of an autistic student who was abandoned on his school bus.
Yeah, left behind. I saw that.
Yeah, Paul Lee, a 19-year-old autistic student, left on a contracted school bus in district parking lot for hours a couple weeks ago when he was found unresponsive laying in the aisle. And the president of this company that provides the biometric iris scanner said, lost or sleeping kids, it happens every year in most school districts nationally, only we rarely hear about it. Kids left sleeping on a bus is at epidemic proportions nationally.
It always happens.
Really?
Yes, I have covered. I can't tell you how many times I've covered a kid left on a school bus, and normally it ends well, but a lot of times it doesn't because it's so hot in there, and then they slowly, fall asleep, and then what the rest how it ends. But it's just responsibility for the bus driver. You should count how many kids get on your bus.
Correct.
And then count how many kids get off. And before you get off the bus as a bus driver,
walk up and down
the aisle. It's a simple solution. I don't think you need eye scanners for that.
That's why this strikes me as bizarre. But this system would, when the bus reaches the end of its daily route, the driver simply ends the route on the device.
Yeah.
And if all the students have not exited the bus, the device will notify the driver both visually and audibly to recheck the bus. But you can't just walk up and down a bus and check for kids. I'm all for technology to enhance safety, but this seems I didn't know this was such a problem. That's bizarre, but it clearly is. If you've got kids, in dangerous enough situations where they die.
Just don't bring your French horn on the bus.
Yes, right.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to purchase a home after filing bankruptcy or when your home was foreclosed, you called me and I helped you. When you tried to purchase a home you couldn't afford, you called me and I advised you to purchase a less expensive home. If you want to talk with me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email david@perldavid.com. That's david@perldavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
Just got a text message from my sister saying poor Nate was left on the bus for a few hours. That was my nephew, and it was a few years ago. Wait, how does that happen?
I'm incredulous. I don't know.
Well, this is some good news. AM 560 has a brand new mobile app, Dan, and it can do some pretty cool things. You can download podcasts of this show straight from the app. You can set an alarm to wake up to the show every morning. And, of course, you can listen to AM 560 wherever you are, right on the mobile app. And if you download or upgrade to the new mobile app between now and October 9th, you'll be able to enter a chance to win an all-expenses paid trip to Cancun, Mexico for a week-long stay at the Secrets The Vine all-inclusive resort, courtesy of our very good friends at Apple Vacations. To get the app for your mobile device so you can register to win the trip, simply go to 560theanswer.com/mobile. That's 560theanswer.com/mobile and download Paradise, available for both Apple and Android-powered devices, presented by Permaseal Basement Systems. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan Shealy, the Director of Evangelization at the Church of St. Mary in Lake Forest, joins us to talk about Pope Francis's time in the U.S. at 7:07.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello once again to a man who's never left behind, Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the stories we're watching right now, high Legionella bacteria levels found in Elgin school cooling systems. A life sentence handed a man convicted in the shooting death of a Chicago police officer. The Gacy exhumations have helped identify an unrelated homicide victim. We'll tell you how. Illinois Gaming Board is rejecting video licenses for a Homewood strip mall. Tigers beat the White Sox. The Cubs cannot muster any offense in a 4-1 loss to the Brewers, and a partly sunny and pleasant day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. A pilgrimage to Mecca turns into a horror show. A stampede has left a lot of Muslims dead and more injured in Saudi Arabia. Fox News Radio's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, at least 453 people are dead and 700 others wounded after a stampede in Mina, some 3 miles from the holy city of Mecca. 4,000 rescue personnel and at least 200 ambulances are on the scene searching for survivors and loading the wounded into ambulances. It's the third day of the Hajj, and an estimated 2 million pilgrims are taking part, Dave.
Jessica, thousands in Washington are gathering outside Congress waiting for Pope Francis. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern live at the Capitol.
Pope Francis will become the first ever pontiff to address Congress, a joint meeting that will not only bring together the House and Senate, but also cabinet secretaries, Supreme Court justices, and just outside here, tens of thousands of faithful watching on jumbo screens, waiting for the Pope to make an appearance on the Speaker of the House's balcony. Pope Francis has been greeted by massive crowds over the past 2 days here in D.C. After his visit to this seat of power, he'll head just a few blocks away to a church offering meals to the city's homeless. Dave.
And Jared, later, Pope Francis goes to New York City. People keep scalping tickets that were free to events there and in Philadelphia. Volkswagen didn't just cheat on emissions tests here. The automaker scandal grows. Fox News Radio's Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Dave, Germany's transport minister saying VW vehicles in Europe are also looking dodgy, that emissions test results were manipulated for cars with certain diesel engines, just like Volkswagen has admitted in the US. Meanwhile, another German giant, BMW, denying a report in a German magazine, raising questions about some of its diesel cars. BMW insisting tests on its vehicles do reflect real-life use. Dave.
Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Partly sunny skies, 60 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. School closed today again in Prospect Heights, District 23. Teachers continue to walk off the job. The union did not meet to vote on the board's final and best offer Wednesday, instead walking picket lines, so school activities are canceled. However, the union did say it's expected to meet with its membership today and review that proposed deal. The lawyer for a woman alleging she was sexually assaulted by Blackhawks player Patrick Kane says an empty evidence bag was improperly left in the doorway of the woman's mother's home. Thomas Iowanu said Wednesday the bag at one point contained the rape kit used when the woman reported she had been assaulted. Paul Cambry, an attorney representing Patrick Kane, says he has doubts about the latest claim by the woman and her attorney.
This seems like an extremely unusual claim. I haven't heard any facts that support it. And the question I have is whether or not it's a fabricated red herring.
Police have been investigating Kane since early August. An investigation is underway after a father and daughter were found dead in Barrington in what authorities are calling a murder-suicide. A man is recovering while being shot driving a semi on the Bishop Ford. State police say the shooting happened late last night in Chicago near 130th. Classes are canceled today at 3 schools in the Elgin area following the discovery of high levels of the bacteria that can cause Legionnaire's disease at the Eastview Middle School, Larkin High School, and the Educational Service Center. Convicted cop killer Bryant Brewer will be spending the rest of his life behind bars. Jennifer Loudon, widow of Officer Thor Soderberg, gave an emotional speech yesterday as a Cook County judge sentenced Brewer to life plus 115 years.
I had no idea it was possible to lose so much in a single lifetime, much less in a single moment.
Brewer was found guilty in August of shooting that officer to death with his own gun in 2010. And the Illinois Gaming Board has rejected a license application for operators who envision opening several businesses and a half-vacant strip mall. Officials in the suburb of Hometown characterize such video gambling parlors or so-called casino malls as a way to create jobs and spur development, but Gaming Chairman Donald Tracy told the board that having the operators so close together was essentially a backdoor casino. Tigers beat the White Sox 7-4. Milwaukee over the Cubs 4-1. The news service of the Illinois Partners for Clean Air. Avoid traffic by riding Metra, CTA, or Pace. and roll comfortably into town for classical music, contemporary dining, or both. With the money you'll save, you'll learn to breathe easy and save easy with Illinois Partners for Clean Air at cleantheair.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
She's bold.
You're not black, so drop the racism crap.
She's controversial.
When you bring the people here, you bring those cultures here.
She's unapologetic.
This is a total fraud and a fig leaf.
And she's coming to Freedom Summit Chicago 2015. She's Ann Coulter.
Now I'm talking.
See best-selling author and conservative firebrand Ann Coulter live on Saturday, November 14th at Freedom Summit Chicago in Itasca. Get your tickets now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to a Sharia and total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
7:06, time to take comfort with Air Comfort. And time to check the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The eastbound Adams Tollway has massive delays from 25 to 53, where the exit ramps have been reduced to 1 lane due to construction. Northbound Tri-State slow going from 115th to the Stevenson with a crash in the right lane. And from Roosevelt to North Avenue. So on Reagan Tollway, it's slow from the Aurora Toll to 59. Veterans Memorial. Delays are from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to Lake. Eden's inbound 35 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 30. To Kennedy 36 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 50. The Eisenhower now 57 minutes. Thorndale to downtown outbound 42. Stevenson 55 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive and outbound 44. Ryan 25 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, high 74. Tonight, partly cloudy and mild with a low 58. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warm with a high 74 and a moonlit sky at night, low 57. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, 63 along the lakefront. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, professionally marketing your home listing for maximum financial results.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here in the United States, we cherish religious liberty.
With countless other people of goodwill, their deepest concerns and the right to religious liberty.
Hillary is a birther. Hillary is the one that started it. Check it out, 2008.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, thanks for joining us this morning. So the Pope was welcomed by President Obama at the White House yesterday, wherein President Obama talked about how he cherishes religious freedom, and Pope Francis was graceful enough to not fall off his chair during President Obama's remarks.
Do you think he understood him?
Oh, I think he did. He addressed the assembled crowd. The Pope did in English, and his English is a lot better than my Spanish. Here's President Obama kicking off the festivities, as it were.
Here in the United States, we cherish religious liberty. It was the basis for so much of what brought us together. And here in the United States, we cherish our religious liberty, but around the world at this very moment, children of God, including Christians, are targeted and even killed because of their faith.
Including Christians? Children of God, including Christians? That's bizarre.
Yeah, I think they he either needs to get a better speechwriter or stick to the teleprompter.
Oh, he was flat.
He's kind of outside of his depth on this topic. For more insight into what the Pope might say and the meaning of what the Pope has said to this point, we're now joined. Excuse me, doined. I can't speak. Spanglish. We're now joined by Dan Sheely. He is a graduate of Princeton and Harvard Law, and he spent his time since his tenure in the Ivy League repenting for those sins by being the longtime director of evangelization at the Church of St. Mary in Lake Forest. He's also a radio colleague. He's got a show on Relevant Radio. Dan Sheely, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's good to be here with you guys.
First questions, a lot of the criticism, particularly from people of a more conservative philosophical persuasion, main criticism of the Pope has been when he seems to be wading into the arena of political discourse, talking about the environment, talking about income inequality, and other such issues. Should the Pope stay away from politics altogether and just speak as a religious figure?
Well, I mean, that's where he's got his role. That's where he's got his, according to the Catholic faith, his what's called his charism, his gift. Okay, the Pope was never really meant to be any kind of a political leader. He's meant to be a spiritual leader, a leader of souls. Not so much telling people exactly how to fix their clocks, okay, but telling people what their lives are all about. And so I think the Pope himself, at least theoretically, realizes that. The problem is that, of course, spiritual life and personal life impacts on what we do. I mean, we can't just go off into a closet and pray. It's got to affect our lives. And so it gets to be kind of a fine balance that has to be drawn. For example, is it a religious issue to speak up for religious liberty? Yes. And it's also a political issue. Okay, so it wades over into that area. And I think the Pope himself would have to recognize that when it comes to matters of pure science or economics, he's not an expert on that. Okay, but what he can do and what he should do is tell people that they should, give a care for each other, and their lives and the society should reflect that. So, it's a good thing. All I can say when I heard of what you were talking about with those quotes from Obama, it's a good thing that Walt Disney is dead, because if he were still alive, I mean, he'd be like, there'd be a picture of Pinocchio with a tree growing out of his nose, with Obama talking about his love for religious liberty. And, as Amy pointed out, I mean, including even Christians being persecuted, the Christians are being targeted.
Right.
And so, I mean, Obama's, I think you guys are right on the money there. I mean, he was certainly uncomfortable and out of his element, although he was trying to get onto the bandwagon and wrap himself a little bit in the papal mantle if he could.
So for the first time ever, a Pope is addressing members of Congress. In the past, this Pope has addressed the European Union and has encouraged lawmakers, to check basically their moral character before getting behind a bill. Do you see that happening here? What do you think he's going to focus on today?
This is interesting. Again, with this Pope, you never really know exactly what he's going to do. I mean, he's called the Pope of Surprises, and that's no joke. Okay, I think, just like everybody else, we're all looking at the speech that he gave on the White House lawn with Obama, with the president right there, and he highlighted 5 issues. Okay, immigration, religious freedom, the life issues, the environment, and family. Now, I think it's safe to say that he'll probably talk about those issues again before the Congress. What'll be different is the play that he gives to them. And this will be something that we'll want to see. If he rings the bell on religious freedom, I mean, that'll with more than just a slight tinkle. Okay, that'll be a big surprise. That'll be very interesting, and it will be noteworthy. That'll be a bully pulpit. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see how he does. We'll see how long he is. I personally think that he's not comfortable as much dealing with politicians as he is dealing with his own. The speech he gave to the bishops was the most remarkable speech he gave of all yesterday. That had the most content to it. It was the longest, and it was the punchiest. The speech that he gave on the White House lawn was short and basically outlined, I think, the areas where the Pope thought that he could speak with the American people about concerns that they had.
And in that address to the bishops, he also indicated his primary reason for coming to the United States in the first place, which was the pro-life cause.
Well, even more than that, the family.
Right.
And that's pretty, potentially explosive as a social issue right here, okay, in light of the Supreme Court's decisions and so forth. Very interesting, I think, to all of us who are interested in the health of the religious movement and of Christianity today, is he wants a spiritual mindset in the minds of the bishop to be primary. There was heavy emphasis in that speech on personal interior life for the bishops, for the leaders, okay? And then when the bishops first have that, then they can go off and dialogue. And so, I kind of get he wants it to be very paternal. I mean, I think that if he ever he's old enough to have watched old Spencer Tracy movies. I think he's looking for bishops who are a little bit like Spencer Tracy playing Father Flanagan.
Yeah.
Like very much a strong father who's going to lead somebody the right way, but he's going to do it as a father. He's going to take off, he's going to put his dukes up if necessary to defend the kids. I think that's what he wants to do.
How about Gregory Peck as Hugh O'Flaherty?
There you go.
Yeah. The other thing,
I love that.
The other thing is he kind of fired a shot across the bow of Obama in a sense. President Obama put together people of faith, people of the cloth who are antagonistic to the church's teaching to welcome Pope Francis. And then Pope Francis made an unscheduled stop at Little Sisters of the Poor, who didn't just sit back and take the Obamacare punishment without litigating it. I thought that was interesting as well. I mean, he did it with much more class and grace than President Obama, but of course that's a low bar.
Well, it's one of the surprises that he pulled, and I think there is significance to it. I mean, again, who are the ones that have a lawsuit? Who are the ones that are fighting really on the front line right now for religious freedom? No, the Little Sisters of the Poor. And why someone would want to pick on them, God only knows, or the devil only knows. Okay, but the Pope wanted to give this icon, this picture of encouragement to them, and I hope it won't be missed.
Yeah, well, it's about time the Little Sisters of the Poor got it. They've had a clean run for too long. So, all right, Dan Sheely, Director of Evangelization at the Church of St. Mary in Lake Forest and talk radio show host on Relevant Radio. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good to be here.
And we'll take your calls on topic after this little break.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Just a gorgeous day, plenty of sunshine, warm conditions, mid-70s, and an exact duplicate for tomorrow. Can't complain for the Cubs-Pittsburgh series, which begins at Wrigley. We're going to have partly sunny skies, a high of 74. And Saturday's going to be pleasant, and same with Sunday. So get out and enjoy. Let's see if there's an enjoyable commute to work. Here's Jim Talamonte with the answer.
Amy, it's rough in some of the northwest suburbs. Medina, Itasca, Irving Park is closed. Medina Road to Rollway due to a crash and a pole down. Zion, Green Bay Road closed 9th to 173 with a crash. The eastbound Adams Tollway is just a disaster. We have huge delays from 31 to 53. Construction has the 53 exit ramps down to one lane. Northbound Tri-State slow going 115th to the Stevenson and the Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Reagan Tollway very slow 31 to 59 at York to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. The Edens 35 minutes like Cook to Montrose outbound 30 the Kennedy. 37 minutes O'Hare to downtown outbound 55. The Ike, an hour and 10 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 42 minutes. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and the Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
I wish this bag under my eye would just go away. Well, if that sounds like you every day, you are not alone. Bags and puffiness under the eyes are a problem for millions of American men and women. That's right, you men out there. Until now. Introducing the new Genucell serum with plant stem cell technology. It's taken from a Swiss apple. It's from Chamonix. I've been using it for 3 months. I love it. I put it on in the morning. I put it on at night, and I'm noticing a difference. And with its instant effects, which is a separate product, you will see results in the first 12 hours or your money back. I guarantee it. So just call now and save big on Genucell's risk-free introductory offer. 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. If you call now, you will receive the amazing Esotique face cream as a special gift simply by placing your order. 800-525-8323. 800-525-8323.
Hi, I'm Brendan Burchard. Some people call me the world's highest paid motivational trainer. And some people call me crazy because I've just authorized a nationwide giveaway of my 2015 New York Times bestseller, The Motivation Manifesto. That's right. In the next 24 hours, I want to give away as many free books as possible. To get your hardcover copy, call 1-800-605-9211. If you want to reach your true potential, personally, professionally, or financially, you need this book. You'll discover how to stop feeling tired and overwhelmed, identify the major enemies keeping you from living your dreams, and learn the secrets to defeating them. I'll teach you my proven strategies to start attaining the levels of drive and personal success you're craving. Financial freedom, emotional freedom, time freedom. In the next 24 hours, I'm giving away as many free books as possible. Due to high demand, I can only offer one per household. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call now. 1-800-605-9211. 1-800-605-9211.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of Newbiotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-655-8385.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking Newbiotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. Newbiotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Think you might be bloated? Call now for a free trial of Newbiotics and see how much flatter it makes your belly. You might be surprised. But hurry, call now for details while these free trials last. 1-800-655-8385. That's 1-800-655-8385. 1-800-655-8385.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson & Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson & Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson & Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
So the Pope says his primary reason here is the pro-life movement and the family. So it's interesting, this piece in the Wall Street Journal from Karl Rove today. Government shutdown is self-promotion. He suggests that if the GOP shuts down the government over Planned Parenthood funding, it will, quote, be a disaster for the pro-life cause because the polling is kind of 50-50 with respect to Planned Parenthood funding. And so, in the Karl Rove's world, you only do something if 50% plus one are supported at any given moment, which, tells you a lot about Karl Rove's assessment of the importance of political courage.
Well, what about just sending a message that we don't like our tax dollars funding an organization that butchers babies and sells body parts?
Yeah, those are the kind of debates and discussions and substantive fights that Karl Rove wants to avoid. I mean, and this is part of the reason government grew under George W. Bush and his quote-unquote compassionate conservatism. And Rove invokes the National Right to Life Committee as an example of a more reasonable approach. They're not calling for a shutdown to stop the funding to have this fight. Here's a little problem, though. We might have a situation with National Right to Life that often happens in the Republican Party and in the conservative movement where you've got an enemy inside your perimeter. I cite this piece from conservativereview.com. According to sources with close ties to the pro-life movement, Mitch McConnell and John Boehner spent the month of August warning pro-life organizations, including National Right to Life, Americans United for Life, Susan B. Anthony List Family Research Council, against backing conservatives' efforts to stop funding for Planned Parenthood through the continuing resolution. National Right to Life has been silent on the issue, and there are a growing chorus of conservative aides who say the group has become nothing more than an arm of the Republican establishment carrying out orders for McConnell and Boehner. Quoting one senior aide on Capitol Hill, when it comes to strategy and actually scoring votes, they're terrible. They've gotten cozy with leadership. They consider themselves to be legislative experts. So when people in Congress put forward good pro-life amendments, they, National Right to Life, won't support it. They actually actively work against it. So you've got some pro-life, erstwhile pro-life advocates playing politics instead of providing the philosophical leadership that is called for at this moment. So there's a choice to be made there as well. But I just want to point that out because you've always got politics just because it's like legislation. The Affordable Care Act turns out to be neither affordable nor about care. Some of these, just because you have the right title in your as the title of your organization, the name of your organization, doesn't mean that you're necessarily always advancing the flag for the cause you say you're representing. It happens all the time, including in the pro-life movement. Our friend of the show, State Representative Jeannie Ives, I think joins us live from D.C. Jeannie?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here with like 14,000 others who just want to come out and see the Pope.
So you're going to his speech today before Congress?
Yes, but I'm certainly not inside. He's given the speech inside, and actually I'm on the West Lawn. I got one of the 50 tickets that Congressman Roscom got. I guess every member got 50 tickets to hand out, so there's about 15,000 people that will be attending the speech. Last night, though, Peter gave us a private tour of the Capitol, and we actually went out on the balcony right where the Pope will come out later and address the throng here. And taped up there are like spots for all the leadership where they're going to stand. I mean, right up there is Boehner and Pelosi, McConnell, Biden, all right next to the Pope. And the second tier is Durbin further off. So it was kind of interesting to see they have their taped marked spots where they're all going to be when they come out of after the address. And then, of course, there's seating.
I can hear the excitement in your voice. Have fun today.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
Yeah, no, it'll be great.
Thanks for the call.
All right.
Talk about a rose among thorns, the Pope among the assemblage. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Preaching from the bunny ranch, it should be fun. But listen, I called for a couple of different reasons. Number one.
Pick one.
All right. Let's do the global warming agenda that has attacked the parochial schools. See, what I think you're missing is that since this Pope has been elected, the agenda of the parochial school has gone hard left in the face of ever-present evidence, scientific evidence, that what they have been preaching, what they are proclaiming, is wrong. Whereas before, our children used to hear the other side of the coin. Now they are clearly being indoctrinated. I know this because I put two kids through parochial school as we speak at the cost of a well-equipped sedan, which, by the way, is worth it because that's what we pay for one Chicago public school kid who can't read. So there's value in what I do. Number two is the immorality of socialism, the immorality of centralized tyranny, of distribution of assets.
All right, Sean, I got to jump. I know your riff on socialism. Thanks for the call. I agree with you. on junk science. I disagree with you on the assessment of the Pope.
Well, I think that's a super philosophy, Sean.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
I will tell you one thing, and he's sick all winter. He wasn't sick at all this winter, not one time.
I've taken vitamins my whole life, and this is really the only thing that I've ever really felt like that did anything.
That's why I kept coming down with the flu. And she said, double them, triple them. And that's what I did since then, and I haven't had the flu. So I know it worked.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code Chicago.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, excuse me, who needs the other more, Fox or Trump? Trump is declaring war on two things, and we'll explain.
And how's Carly Fiorina holding up under enhanced scrutiny of her record? We'll have that at 7:37.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and get the latest on that stampede in the Middle East. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have clouds and sun here, 62, and the death toll rising in Mina, Saudi Arabia, 452. Where a stampede broke out during the Hajj, an annual Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca. 700 injured, according to Saudi authorities at this hour, which, of course, happened during the symbolic ritual known as the stoning of the devil. Pope Francis says he hopes to offer words of encouragement to guide the nation's political future when he addresses a joint session of Congress this morning. The first pontiff to address Congress, invited by House Speaker John Boehner, who will be sitting behind Francis with Vice President Joe Biden. Republican presidential candidate Rick Santorum doesn't necessarily see Francis's comments as being political.
Life and family and the environment, all of these things are integrated together into a whole as he sees them, as the Catholic Church sees them. And so I don't see them as distinct political issues. And I think if you read it that way, you're not getting his point.
Santorum on Fox says that helping the poor is part of Catholic doctrine, so it's not surprising the Pope would push talks on income inequality. From one Washington to another, that's how China's President Xi Jinping is traveling today. Hours after the Pope departs for New York, Xi and President Barack Obama are scheduled for a private dinner before officially the president will welcome Xi and his wife to the White House for a state visit tomorrow. A day after Volkswagen's CEO resigned following a scandal over rigged U.S. emissions tests, there are reports in Germany that another large German car maker, BMW, may have similar problems. Schools will remain closed today in Prospect Heights, District 23. Teachers continue to strike. Officials say the union did not meet to vote on the board's best and final offer. An investigation is underway after a father and daughter were found dead in Barrington in what authorities are calling a murder-suicide. Harry and Catherine Burrows were discovered Tuesday in their home. The coroner's office says the daughter was murdered and the father committed suicide. A man recovering after he was shot driving a semi on the Bishop Ford. It happened late last night near 130th, closing the northbound lanes for a time. Classes canceled today at 3 schools in the Elgin area following the discovery of the bacteria that can cause Legionnaire's disease. Eastview Middle School, Larkin High School, and the Educational Services Center were evacuated yesterday after high levels of the Legionella bacteria were found in cooling towers of each building. Tigers beat the White Sox last night. Milwaukee held off the Cubs. And the news, a service of the Illinois Partners for Clean Air. Avoid traffic, ride Metra CTA or Pace, and roll comfortably into town for classical music, contemporary dining, or both. With the money you'll save, learn to breathe easy and save easy with the Illinois Partners for Clean Air. 734. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Joe Walsh Show.
You see, I believe we should be at war. I know Democrats are at war,
They wake up every morning and they think about, and then they go to war on how can they take away more of what you make. Man, our founding fathers would be disgusted with us.
The Joe Walsh Show, weeknights starting at 5, right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, if your company manufactures or markets pharmaceuticals, biologics, medical devices, or APIs, you know the challenges of systems integration, FDA compliance, and staffing. To gain access to Chicagoland's top life sciences engineering, quality assurance, project management, regulatory, software, and validation professionals, you need the experts at Automated Systems, Inc. All of ASI's resources are degreed professionals with decades of industry experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For over a quarter of a century, ASI has excelled through a culture of execution and client success. For information about staffing or a no-obligation compliance or automation evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems toll-free at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
At Galaxy, they'll help make the house you have into the home you love. Right now, get kitchen or bath cabinets, 2 for the price of 1. Contact Galaxy 773-783-8300 or galaxyhome.com.
Hi, welcome to our open house.
Wow. I love this kitchen. Those granite countertops are gorgeous. I could really see us living here. I wonder if we could afford it.
Have you checked your credit score to see if you qualify for a mortgage?
No, I haven't. How do I do that?
You should join Credit Sesame to get your credit score. It's quick and easy to sign up, and it's absolutely free.
Yes, at Credit Sesame, we help turn your credit score into the key that unlocks the things you want, like that new home. We give you a free credit score and so much more. You get free credit monitoring and alerts, personal loan analysis and recommendations, money management tips and tools, all to save you money and help you reach your goals. Plus, identity theft protection, absolutely free, no credit card required. Get your credit score in seconds. So do more with your score. Get started today. Visit joincreditsesame.com. That's joincreditsesame.com. joincreditsesame.com.
7:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. And Itasca Irving Park is closed. Medina Road to Rollwing with a crash and a pull down. Eden's 35 minutes. Like Cook to Montrose outbound 30. The Kennedy 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 55. The Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 56 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 48 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. The Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State. Stop and go 115th to the Stevenson with a crash on the right side. And Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway really slow from the Fox River Bridge to 53. Reagan Tollway delays 31 to 59 at York to the Tri-State. Traffic service of Stand Up to Cancer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Partly sunny, pleasantly warm, 74 today. 59 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Donald Trump is boycotting Fox News Channel now.
Yeah, I heard this morning. He's done.
But the question is, are voters starting to boycott, Republican primary voters starting to boycott Donald Trump?
Yes, I have exciting news because last night he was in South Carolina, Dan, and guess what? Half of the room was empty.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't sell out like he expected to.
Well,
I get big crowds. I get ratings.
I'll temper that news with Fox News poll out yesterday that shows Donald Trump remaining on top with 26%, followed by Carson, Fiorina, Rubio, and on down the line, Bush, and so forth. So it's not quite going away yet. But I wonder if at some point we're going to look. It's one of two ways. Because what Scott Walker said when he suspended his campaign, the call for others to join him and clear the field to consolidate it and focus people's attention. Trump needs other characters in order to continue this television series. You've got to introduce new characters and new, plot
new
lines.
Enemies. True.
Well, new plot lines in order to keep people's interest with this. Because it's not like he's going to, offer some Social Security reform plan. That's not what he's going to do.
Education policy.
It's all playing off the characters that are part of this ensemble cast running for president, including the media plays a subordinate role and the Democrats play a subordinate role, but then you've got all these Republican candidates as well. The people play a subordinate role, Republican primary voters. So he needs them to keep going because if you consolidate it, it starts to become perhaps a little boring. And I wonder if this is going to be like a good show like Mad Men that just kind of ran out of steam at the end. Like I stopped watching Mad Men about a season and a half before it concluded. Or if we're going to look back on this and remember a show that we used to watch and like when it was on. But if you go back and look at reruns now, you ask, how could I ever like that show?
Such as Three's Company.
No, I like Three's.
You still like that?
I was thinking more like Friends.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I never watched Friends. Never have seen an episode of Friends. I can proudly declare that.
Well, for those of you who were Friends, watch. It was quite popular at the time.
It was. I was, a nonconformist back then.
But you go back and watch a rerun. The reruns on now.
Yeah.
And
canned laughter and all that.
You're like, okay, look at Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox, but what the heck was I thinking spending a half hour of my life watching this dreck?
I'm hopeless and awkward and desperate for love.
And, that maybe was it. I don't know.
312-642-5600. Who's next for Donald Hare's crosshairs? Or who's next for his reality TV show? Boycotting Fox News is a big deal. He was upset that Bill O'Reilly canceled him. And he just all of a sudden, I'm not going to watch Fox News. And I'm going to boycott them, Dan, until further notice.
Well, he also was upset by what Rich Lowry, who's the editor of National Review Online, had to say about Trump on Megyn Kelly. And like all things related to Trump, if you say something about him on a television outlet or radio outlet, then it inevitably spills over into Twitter because that's where Donald Trump spends most of his time tweeting, apparently. Here's Lowry on Trump on Megyn Kelly's show.
Joining me now, National Review editor and Fox News contributor Rich Lowry and the Blaze radio host Chris Salcido. Great to see you both.
Hi, Megan.
So let's start with that. People say it's sexist to say her business career was a disaster. Has anybody said that?
No one disputes that. And look, Trump obviously attacks everyone, but she's become a much bigger target. And I think part of what's going on here is that last debate. Let's be honest. Carly cut his off with the precision of a surgeon, and he knows it. He's insulted and bullied his way to the top of the polls. No one was able to best him ever except for this tough lady on that stage, and it must kill him. He must be simmering about it to this night.
Rich,
first off,
Hello.
Castration. Ooh.
Cut his jewels off is what Lowry said, and Trump wants the FCC to fine Fox News Channel. Trump, well-versed in FCC law like so many other areas of law and public policy, meaning he's not, that you can say something like that on cable news channel.
It is a part of the anatomy.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen, but so he and Lowry, that spilled over into Twitter, like I said. So that's another reason why he's boycotting Fox News Channel. So you won't have Donald Trump to kick around anymore, at least not for the next week or so until he comes up with a new storyline.
So yesterday when he spoke in front of the half-empty room, actually last night in Charleston, South Carolina, he went after the original birther, Dan.
Hillary Clinton.
And Hillary, who's become very shrill. You know the word shrill? She's become shrill. She was saying what I said about Obama, and yet in 2008, she was the original birther. She's the one that started that whole thing. Hillary is a birther. By the way, don't switch your votes to Hillary, please. But Hillary is the one that started it. Check it out, 2008.
And he's referring to a 60 Minutes interview where she sat down and they asked, do you think Obama is a Muslim? And she said, no, Not that I know of.
Yeah, we talked.
And it was the not the know of part.
We talked about it. Dana Bash reported on CNN, and it's not just that. That interview was telling, but it was also reports that her aides during the 2008 campaign cycle were actively pushing this storyline. Of course, she was on with Don Lemon on CNN yesterday, flatly denying it, but who believes anything Hillary Clinton says?
And she's going to be on with Chuck Todd on Meet the Press on Sunday.
Yeah, so that'll be scintillating,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Sure, she'll have all our questions answered. Yeah.
Speaking of Carly Fiorina as well, her record is now being poured over with a different level of scrutiny because of her rise in the polls and her debate performances, and the two are inextricably linked. So a couple of things. One, the debate over whether she's a convert to conservatism, and I would direct people to a couple of good pieces. There's one in the LA Times, and there's also one by Jim Garrity in National Review Online that talk about what kind of candidate she was when she ran for Senate against Barbara Boxer in 2010. And the upshot of it is she was a pretty conservative candidate. There were some things that I disagree with, that conservatives will probably disagree with, that she supported back when she was a Senate candidate.
Such as what?
The confirmation of Sonia Sotomayor to the Supreme Court, TARP. So there are some things there that are problematic, but you're going to have disagreements with candidates, every candidate on one issue or another. So the Wall Street bailout, though, it could be a damaging one, particularly given her uneven record, to be generous, at HP, and that is much in dispute, her time as the CEO there. But then there's these stories, too. Her tough talk about Iran during the last debate at the Reagan Library. This story from BuzzFeed. Carly Fiorina was paid $48,000 for a speech to a bank that violated U.S. sanctions on Iran. So this was a French bank, BP Paribas, June of last year, 6 days after the Wall Street Journal reported the bank was the subject of a federal criminal probe for flouting U.S. economic sanctions on Iran.
Did she really need the money? Why would she do that? She seems like a smart woman.
Well, and that bank in question later pled guilty to charges and agreed to pay about a $9 billion fine. In addition, just staying on the Iran-related topic for a second, this story from Bloomberg, HP, Hewlett-Packard, earned millions of dollars from sales in Iran while Carly Fiorina was its CEO. Bloomberg reports that Hewlett-Packard used a European subsidiary and a Middle East distributor to sell hundreds of millions of dollars and of printers and other equipment to Iran. Now, there's no allegation of violation of federal law. However, U.S. companies were banned from exporting to Iran in 1995 when President Clinton issued 2 executive orders tightening the sanctions on Iran in response to their support for terrorism, back when we thought Iran's sponsor of terrorism was a problem. Apparently we don't anymore. So this is why they used what you could not charitably describe as cutouts to move their products in Iran. But these are the kind of issues that Carly Fiorina is going to have to respond to now that she's seen as a serious contender for the nomination. And so you've got to it's difficult because a lot of people, and this is the case with Trump as well, whatever you do in business, that's just business. Now you're you're entering the public policy arena, the political arena, so it's just your views that matter, not what you did in the business world. I disagree with that.
Well, yeah, because if you've never held public office, all you have is your record as a business person to stand on.
Yeah.
And who your associates were.
Right, and your performance, whether it's in the private sector or the public sector, in whatever capacities, speak to your character, speak to your judgment. So all of this is relevant, and Fiorina is going to have to answer for these stories that are being reported, not just about HP's performance while she was CEO, but about the specific judgment calls she made while she was CEO and everything since.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine greeting you this Thursday morning. We'll have a high of 74 degrees, an exact duplicate of tomorrow. Partly sunny for your Friday, nice and warm, a high in the mid-70s. Let's get the travel times and see how the inbound Ike is shaping up. Here's Jim Telemonte.
It's heavy. Amy and Dan, good morning. The Ike, an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, a full hour from Mannheim. Outbound 48 minutes to Thorndale. To Kennedy, now an hour from O'Hare to downtown. Express lanes only save 2 or 3 minutes. Outbound 55 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 35 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. To Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 44 minutes. To Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive delays are southbound from before Irving Park to Fullerton, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State slow Cicero to Southwest Highway and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway very slow from the Fox River to 53 with the ramps there down to 1 lane. Veterans Memorial slow I-55 most of the way to Roosevelt and from the Army Trail Toll Plaza to 290. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
AM 560 has a brand new mobile app, and it can do some pretty cool things. You can download podcasts of this show straight from the app. You can set an alarm to wake you up to this show every morning. And, of course, you can listen to AM 560 wherever you are, right on the mobile app. And if you download or upgrade to the new mobile app between now and October 9th, you will be able to enter to win an all-expenses-paid trip to beautiful Cancun, Mexico for a week-long stay at the Secrets The Vine all-inclusive resort, courtesy of our good friends at Apple Vacations. To get the app for your mobile device so you can register to win the trip, go to 560theanswer.com/mobile. That's 560theanswer.com/mobile and download Paradise. Available for both Apple and Android-powered devices, presented by Permaseal Basement Systems.
A career isn't supposed to be mundane. It's supposed to be motivating, satisfying, and rewarding. If you're looking for an opportunity to work with the support, reliability, and resources you need to be successful, then it's time to join RE/MAX Professionals. Ed Lukasik Jr. isn't just an ordinary award-winning real estate broker. It's his marketing strategy that makes him the country's 88th best seller, according to the Wall Street Journal. He goes beyond traditional thinking to make sure his agents and his results are second to none. You too can now be an agent with a broker that lead shares, a broker that provides state-of-the-art technology and has business waiting for you from the very first day, a broker that trains you hands-on with techniques that you need to keep achieving success. If you're not picking your jaw up off the floor yet, then at least pick up the phone. Call 630-679-5454 and see what it's like to be an agent with Ed Lukasik's family at RE/MAX Professionals. That's 630-679-5454.
Heel pain can be very frustrating. The pain usually begins with the first few steps in the morning and can last the entire day. It can ruin your day. I'm Dr. Kent Mercado from the Mercado Foot and Ankle Centers. Over 40 years ago, my father, Dr. Owe Mercado, developed an award-winning minimal incision technique that can remove a heel spur in 10 minutes or less. We've performed thousands of successful surgeries for heel pain. But the good news is that over 90% of the patients with heel pain can be helped with simple, non-surgical techniques. If you or a loved one is suffering with heel pain, call us. We can help. Even if you've been treated before and still have pain, call us. Heel pain is our specialty. Let our family take care of your family.
Call Mercado Foot and Ankle Centers now at 708-383-6800 or visit oamercado.com. That's 708-383-6800 or online at oamercado.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, the other candidate that is coming under increased scrutiny, although it's much more subdued, is Marco Rubio. Apparently, by James Toronto. I mean, and it gets even dumber. Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Just say it. Todd Christensen lookalike.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tribute to his perm, and I appreciate that. So she was calling on Rubio to cancel a fundraiser he had scheduled with Harlan Crow, who's this real estate magnate in Texas. Because Crow, who's inherited a real estate empire from his father, much like Trump, he has this massive library that includes all kinds of works of art and all kinds of books and all kinds of statues.
On what?
Including likenesses, statues of Lenin, Stalin, Romania's Ceausescu, Tito. He also has a copy of Mein Kampf. But the point is that he's got this. It's essentially a museum that he has.
Yeah.
So the
Rich people have nice little toys.
Well, and the reason
and artifacts.
And Crow's reason for having all this is to preserve history so we don't forget history.
Or repeat it.
It is not because he is a Nazi sympathizer or a Tito sympathizer or a Ceausescu sympathizer. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz doesn't make those distinctions because she's a hack.
Well, and good news for Marco Rubio. For the first time, there was a Florida poll taken, and he has surpassed Jeb Bush. Of course, Trump's in first place, 31%. Marco Rubio, 19%, and Jeb now has fallen to third with 11%.
Yeah,
that's big news for Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio right now is kind of has a bit of an inside track to this thing. He is someone to watch. There's no question. He is suffering the fewest slings and arrows and just kind of plodding along and giving pretty good answers in the debates as well. Tom in Round Lake Beach on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, listen, we understand what you and the rest of you establishment Republicans want. You want Jeb Bush.
Right.
And Jeb Bush is a loser.
Right,
and
Tom.
so is Marco Rubio.
I know. Everybody's a loser, Tom.
You guys are going to get your way, and you're going to lose the presidential election because you know what what Republicans do best? They know how to lose, and you're a loser. And this program's a loser, too.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
I'll pray for you.
Must be a Trump supporter with just a bunch of losers and haters. Also not particularly well-versed with the facts, much like his candidate of choice, I presume.
Because you've never verbally supported Jeb Bush or a Scott Walker guy. You were.
I'm not going to support Jeb Bush. And in terms of Republicans being losers, we do have control of the House and the Senate. We do have 66 out of 99 legislative bodies in the country. We haven't done so well in the last couple of presidential candidates. We've nominated bad candidates. Don't necessarily mean that we're going to do it again this time. I would say the other side has a bad candidate as their prospective nominee, too.
Horrible candidate.
So, Tom may...
You going to put up the sign?
Well, I just wonder, if some of these Trump supporters will continue howling at the moon, no matter what is said, no matter what is done, because they're just not interested. Tom is apparently one of them. That's okay. Bob in Waukegan.
Yeah, remember Jake Carney last year when Homes and Gardens or Vogue or whoever showed up to do the spread on his wife's house or on his house, that they had Communist Workers Party posts all over the dining room.
That's right.
Somebody should ask Debbie Wasserman Snotty Nose about that.
That's a good one. Thanks for remembering that, Bob.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
To get your 2 MyPillows for the price of one, call 800-489-0201 and please use the promo code Amy. Or you can go to mypillow.com and use the promo code Amy. That's 800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com. Either way, don't forget the promo code AMY.
For a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM 560 business owners. It's a name that you have come to know and trust. These guys do it all, from on-site service calls and help desk to all-in networks. They have a plan that fits your company's technology needs. Want to move your business to the cloud? Turnkey can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Is having someone to call when you misplace a file or accidentally open an email with a virus important? Well, then Turnkey's got you covered. Time for all new equipment. With Turnkey's all-in plan, your business will have brand new equipment and the highest level of support you can find. Do you want professional and timely support from your IT company? Of course you do. And Turnkey is prompt and responsive to support requests, shows up on time, and provides service even after normal business hours. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company, so focus on your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro. And coming up
on Chicago's Morning Answer, the latest on Hillary and why mainstream media has not covered the email scandal.
And a Muslim comes to the defense of one Ben Carson. We'll have that at 7:30 or 8:38. Excuse me.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good Thursday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. Getting prepared for the Pope in the nation's capital. Details from Fox News on that story coming up. Here locally, high Legionella bacteria levels in cooling systems have led to school closures in Elgin. Schools remain closed today in Prospect Heights, District 23. A life sentence handed a man convicted in the shooting death of a Chicago police officer. Illinois Gaming Board is rejecting video licenses for a strip mall. Baseball last night, Tigers beat the White Sox. Not a lot of offense for the Cubs in a 4-1 loss to the Brewers. And in your forecast, partly sunny and pleasantly warm. Complete look at weather after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They waited for hours to get a glimpse. And they went crazy when Pope Francis emerged just a few minutes ago from where he's staying in Washington. He shook hands, he gave out hugs and kisses. And thousands have gathered at the Capitol, some before dawn, to also see him.
I respect him so much. He's really all about people.
I think it's been wonderful.
The Pope is headed now to Capitol Hill. He'll address Congress in an hour.
Pope Francis will become the first pope to deliver a speech to a joint meeting of Congress, a big accomplishment for House Speaker John Boehner, who has said he unsuccessfully invited the past two previous popes. Also on the dais, sitting behind the pontiff, will be Vice President Joe Biden, who, like Boehner, is a Catholic. Francis's speech is expected to call on lawmakers to do what they can to protect the environment and touch on the importance of service.
That's Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern at the Capitol. Lawmakers have been urged not to cheer the speech or reach out and touch him or take a popey, what they're calling selfies with him. Pope Francis heads to New York City later. Then China's president arrives in D.C., coming from Washington State. President Obama will host a private dinner tonight, then a state dinner for Xi tomorrow. One topic of discussion, Chinese cyber attacks. They keep finding bodies in a stampede that turned a Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca a nightmare. Fox News Radio's Jessica Gallagher, live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, at least 717 pilgrims are dead and more than 800 injured after a stampede in Mina during a stoning ritual on the third day of the Hajj. Around 3,000 rescue workers and 200 ambulances are on the scene, some 3 miles from the holy city of Mecca, searching for survivors. Stampedes have happened in years past. Saudi officials have deployed security forces to oversee crowd management and ensure safety. There are an estimated 2 million pilgrims this year. Dave?
Jessica, police chase early this morning in South Texas has left 6 dead, 7 hurt in Edna. Officers tried to stop a driver for a violation. He sped off, then crashed the SUV, rolled over, and flipped several times. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun this morning. We're warming up just a bit. 60 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Schools remain closed today in Prospect Heights, District 23, after the board laid out their best and final offer Wednesday. The union expected to meet later today with membership to review that deal. The lawyer for a woman alleging she was sexually assaulted by Blackhawks forward Patrick Kane says an empty evidence bag was improperly left in the doorway of the woman's mother's home. Thomas Iowanu said Wednesday that that bag at one point may have contained the rape kit used when the woman reported she had been assaulted. However, Paul Cambria, an attorney representing Patrick Kane, says he now has doubts about the latest claim by the woman who alleges she was raped by Patrick Kane.
This seems like an extremely unusual claim. I haven't heard any facts that support it. And the question I have is whether or not it's a fabricated red herring.
Police have been investigating Kane since early August. He has not been charged. Classes are canceled at 3 schools in the Elgin area following the discovery of bacteria that can cause Legionnaire's disease. Those schools are Eastview Middle School, Larkin High School, and the Educational Services Center. Convicted cop killer Brian Brewer will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Jennifer Loudon, the widow of Officer Thor Soderberg, gave an emotional speech yesterday as a Cook County judge sentenced Brewer to life plus 115 years.
I had no idea it was possible to lose so much in a single lifetime, much less in a single moment.
Meantime, the Illinois Gaming Board has rejected video license applications for operators who envisioned opening several businesses and a half-vacant strip mall in Homewood. Chicago sports, Detroit over the White Sox 7-4. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 4-1. The news a service of the Milwaukee Airport. With all the major U.S. airlines, great fares, and parking as low as $7 a day. You'll save time and money when you fly up the interstate to Milwaukee's airport. Visit flymke.com to see why more people are choosing Milwaukee, the O'Hare alternative. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Pat O'Neill.
From the Fox Business Network, global markets still feeling the collateral damage from the Volkswagen scandal. Japan's Nikkei fell 2 3/4%. Volkswagen shares rebounded some from recent heavy losses, but shares of several auto parts companies fell. CEO Martin Winterkorn stepped down yesterday in the wake of charges Volkswagen cheated on U.S. emissions tests. A member of the company's board says he expects more resignations. Overseas markets mostly lower overall. U.S. stock futures down a bit. 3 economic reports on today's slate: first-time jobless claims, durable goods, and new home sales. $175. That's what one person was charging on Craigslist for rosary beads and tickets to see the Pope, as scalpers get creative in trying to sell tickets and other items for the Pope's visit to New York and Philadelphia. Tickets that were distributed free by lottery. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio calls the scalping inconsistent with everything this Pope stands for. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Pat O'Neill.
8:05 in Chicago, and a check of traffic and weather is next on AM 560.
The FICO score is not really even a good indication that you pay your debts back.
Dave Ramsey.
What it's an indication of is, do you love debt? And are you planning on staying in debt continually, forever? If you're running around trying to build your FICO score and you call that winning with money, you're stupid. Was I unclear? I hope not. Because you're not winning with money. That's the point.
It's the Dave Ramsey Show, tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Asurion total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delays start around Pratt. 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. The Kennedy is now an hour and 5 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 35 minutes from Montrose, 27 in the Express. Outbound 50 minutes downtown to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, an hour from Mannheim. Outbound 53 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, southbound, jammed. Bryn Mawr to Fullerton, northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound tri-state delays. Cicero to Southwest Highway, 95th to 31st, and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway really bottled up from the Fox River to 53, where the exit ramps are down to 1 lane. Reagan Tollway stop and go 31 to Eola, and York to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solutions provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Partly sunny today, high 74. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Then partial sunshine tomorrow with a high 74. And a moonlit sky at night with a low 57. For Saturday, sun and some clouds, high of 75. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, 62 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Health Quest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Here in the United States, we cherish religious liberty.
With countless other people of goodwill, their deepest concerns and the right to religious liberty.
Hillary is a birther. Hillary is the one that started it. Check it out, 2008.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
What is up? Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So Catholicism, not the only religion in the crosshairs this week. Islam as well. We had the Jersey City School Board vote down providing a day off for the Feast of Sacrifice, the Muslim holiday. And, of course, we had Ben Carson's comments that triggered so much reaction. Ben Carson on Meet the Press talking about, whether or not a Muslim could be or should be, it's not a constitutional question,
right.
Could be President of the United States.
So do you believe that Islam is consistent with the Constitution?
No, I don't. I do not. I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not agree with that.
Carson later clarified that, but he didn't apologize. He didn't walk it back in total. Do you agree with Ben Carson? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. DA is our turnkey.pro text line.
Yeah, he said that if you're a radical Islamist, you shouldn't be president. If you believe in Sharia law above the Constitution, you should not be president.
And one young Muslim woman named Arsa Nomani agrees with him.
Really?
And she wrote a rather compelling piece in the Daily Beast entitled, "To This Secular Muslim, Ben Carson Had a Point." She writes, "Secular Muslims like me who reject political Islam understood what he, Ben Carson, meant. He doesn't want a Muslim as president who doesn't believe in the strict secular separation of mosque and state, so that the laws of the state aren't at all touched by Sharia or Islamic law derived from the Quran, the sayings and traditions of Muhammad, of course." Carson's comments underscore a political reality in which Muslim communities, not only in far-flung theocracies like Saudi Arabia and Iran, but also in the United States, still struggle with existential questions about whether Islam is compatible with democracy and secularism. This is this young Muslim woman, Arsa Nomani, writing. I'm no Islamic scholar, but she makes the point. The Quran states that Allah, quote, take account of every single thing. And she has the citation, which has led to the divine mandate by leading Muslim scholars to reject secularism or the way of the world. And she goes on, in many instances, too many instances, we're seeing an erosion of those boundaries, in part led by some Muslims, increasingly using the America's spirit of religious accommodation and cultural pluralism to challenge rules that most of the rest of America accepts. And she frankly takes care, the Council on American Islamic Relations, to task as well. She mentions several instances, the Jersey City School District case that we talked about, where you had Muslims lobbying for a 11th hour change in policy for the sake of diversity and inclusion, not giving it too much consideration to other families. If you have schedule a holiday so close to the holiday you want scheduled, in terms of giving parents the opportunity for daycare and to make necessary adjustments, but anything under the sake of diversity and inclusion, she that was essentially her point about Jersey City. She also makes the point that Carson wasn't being hyperbolic in expressing concern about radical Muslims. Globally, Muslims express deep problems with separation of mosque and state. In a 2013 Pew Research Center survey, an alarming percentage of Muslims worldwide, numbering 99% in Afghanistan and even 45% in Russia, answered favor when asked whether or not they favor or oppose making Sharia the law of their land. A disturbing percentage also support including Sharia in family, marriage, and criminal law, including settling property disputes, deciding child custody arrangements, stoning people for adultery, and cutting the hands off of thieves. This survey wasn't conducted in the West, but it does reveal cultural mindsets. I mean, this is part of the issue, right? As you talk about peaceful pluralist Muslims, and there's no doubt there are many, but what percentage of the 1.5 billion the world over are peaceful pluralists? Even if it's the majority, even if it's a overwhelming majority, you're still talking about millions and millions that are not of the mindset of Miss Nomani writing this piece about Ben Carson's remarks.
I give her credit for coming forward and writing such a brave piece, because she may have retaliation for standing up, because no other moderate Muslims that I know of are coming together and just denouncing jihad, denouncing the radicalists. And she's actually complimenting Ben Carson for saying the truth.
She actually goes...
Because you can't choose Sharia law over the Constitution. And that was his fear, and that's what he said, She actually goes further to say it's not time to pull the plug on Carson's campaign. It's time to continue the politically incorrect but critical conversation he started. I mean, it is Thursday. He made those comments on Sunday. These comments have stuck with him, and he has not backed down for the last few days, and that just seems like a long period of time for me.
Well, but this is an important discussion, as the author suggests, and it's a discussion we've been having. I mean, particularly think about this in the context of U.S. refugee policy with respect to Muslim refugees. Some certainly peaceful, legitimate, seeking refuge from tyranny in Syria and other countries. Some maybe with less than the best interests of America at heart. And she also, invokes some of the writings and instruction of, for example, the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. And this is important because do you take people seriously or not? When somebody tells you who they are, do you believe them, or you just say, no, you're who I want you to be? You're not that person. You don't really think that. This is what we're doing with the Ayatollah in Iran, with Rouhani, the president of Iran. No, you're not. That's just a bunch of domestic political claptrap. I see what you're doing, but you don't really mean death to the great Satan. You don't really mean you want to expunge Israel. She, in this piece, Ms. Arsani writes of the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood, talking about his teachings. She's quoting him. Secularism may be accepted in Christian society, but can never enjoy a general acceptance in Islamic society. And then that was the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood. She goes on to say, today, even ordinary Muslims ask questions like, is it permissible to pray behind imams who promote democracy and secularism? The answer from too many in Muslim leadership is no. So this is an important substantive discussion. It's not Islamophobia. It's a substantive discussion about peaceful pluralist Muslims, the Islamic religion, and the debate even going on within the Islamic community. She represents one point of view, a point of view, frankly, that we don't hear enough. Bob in West Chicago.
I just think that people have taken the words and twisted it. And when I say people, I mean the media, Fox News, every organization. Ben Carson said that he does not advocate a Muslim. That's just a personal opinion. I don't advocate Hillary. Do I hate women? I don't advocate people with bad hair. Do I hate Trump?
Right.
You got to look at atheists. Hate the fact that anybody that wants God, they don't want them in the presidency. I mean, it's gone beyond out of control, and it's the media perpetuating it. And I'm ashamed to be on the phone with you right now because you are doing it.
Well, we're talking about it, and we're not perpetuating a stereotype. It's just
no. If this is the same. This is like the same line of argumentation. Like if you raise an issue about someone's record, you're attacking them. If you ask a question, that's an attack now. I mean, people. You would talk about not being sensitive. I mean, Bob, this is an interesting call because at the one mind he's talking about not being sensitive
while he's being sensitive,
right? It's just, gosh, what a.
But we love you, Bob.
What a muddled mess we have out there these days. Chuck in Delvin, Wisconsin.
Hey, everybody needs to look at the Johnson-Reed Amendment from the 1920s. That law was put into effect, and it said that anybody from Sicily north and Greece west could come into the country at 150,000 people. And you weren't supposed to be on the dole when you got here. 3% would come through Angels Island, and that was supposed to take care of the other part of the world. One thing that they did with that, all those people were Christian. That law stayed in effect until 1967 when the swimmer, Ted Kennedy, made the immigration law when he was pandering to future voter base of people that would be Democrats. And everybody looks now, they go, wow, what happened to our country? It's like a third world country. Well, when you let people come into this country that never flipped the switch on the wall and never pooped in a toilet, that's what you got going right now.
Okay, thanks for the call, Chuck. Vivid. Greg in Schaumburg.
Hey, Dan and Amy, this is Greg. I have a son who's in criminology and a criminology student in college, and I encouraged him to ask this question, that if you are a U.S. law enforcement officer going into, say, Dearborn, Michigan, or someplace that is, just overwhelmingly Islamic and believes in Sharia law, what do you do? If you're there, say, with somebody in that community that is placed a call to you and effectively, say, a woman who's getting beat up, and you're charged as the law enforcement officer to go in there, but you go in and you know that community is going to immediately rebuff you. What do you do?
Thanks for the call, Greg.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today, a high of 74 degrees tonight. Down into the 50s we go again. And for Friday, just another gorgeous day. Partly sunny skies, still warm. A high in the mid to upper 70s. Travel times, let's get the latest and see how the inbound Kennedy and Ike's shaping up. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The Kennedy runs an hour and 5 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. The delay started Sayre. Outbound, it's 50 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes from Thorndale to Plouffe. And the Stevenson, an hour 15, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 40. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. In Itasca, we have a closure of Irving Park Road between Medina and 53. There's a down utility pole being fixed after a crash. Northbound Tri-State really slow. Southwest Highway most of the way to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway jammed from the Fox River to 53, where construction has the ramps down to one lane. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure? Losing the family home? Well, you'd be not alone, so please listen to this. There are a lot of issues in a foreclosure, legal issues, factual issues. Dozens so far, and more coming to light every day. You see, people, we are in the aftermath of what will go down in history as the greatest financial crime in history, from which a lot of people profited immensely. And these people did not always do things entirely legally. That is a foregone conclusion. I'm Lou Bridges. I put together a law firm dedicated to foreclosure defense and to avoiding foreclosure by working with the banks, based on a thorough examination and analysis of all the potential issues and questions. And we have surrounded ourselves with people equally committed to this pursuit of justice.
Call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. Or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense firm and discover the legal tools at your disposal.
AST for Industry. This is John Haidt. My company is Anti-Seize Technology. We are the company behind hundreds of products used by industry and manufacturing worldwide. For over 35 years, my local company has made lubricants, adhesives, and sealants. I put my products up against any other company for quality and value. That's why we say AST for Industry.
Your maintenance crew can save time, money, and your equipment. Slick-On Flow Lube is a superior spray-on industrial lubrication for your sliding, rolling, squeaky, turning, press-fitting needs. Slick-On Flow Lube keeps your equipment in service and reduces costly breakdowns. Slick-On Flow Lube is a great product for your maintenance team from Anti-Seize Technology.
We will prove products from Anti-Seize Technology are better for your industry. Contact us for a demonstration. Go to AST4Industry.com. Remember, AST4Industry.com. Check out our line of lubricants, adhesives, and sealants for your company. AST4Industry.com.
This is Dan Tullis, and I just called Joel Clark.
one of Select Quote Insurance Services' term life agents.
Hi, Mr. Tullis.
Joel, how does Select Quote save you money on term life insurance?
Well, buying term life insurance is all about choosing the right company. Let's say you take antidepressants or you smoke. All insurance companies are going to price that differently. We'll impartially shop all the companies we represent to find you the best price.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. I just got a man, 40 years old, on cholesterol medication, a $500,000 policy with a highly rated insurance company. His price? Under $25 a month.
Call 1-800-979-3269 and see how affordable term life insurance can be. That's 1-800-979-3269. 1-800-979-3269. Or go to selectquote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity. Right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
So just updating this data breach story, Office of Personnel Management ultimately led to the resignation of that director. Remember, everybody's records from like the last 15 years, anybody who filled out an application and got
or had a background check.
Yeah, had
too.
For security clearance.
Yeah, it was their birth dates, credit card numbers, social security numbers, and now this new information, which is just stunning.
Yeah, the new information is 5.6 million fingerprints stolen in the breach that was believed to have been the hacking that was believed to have been conducted by Chinese military. Of course, Beijing denies involvement.
Because I've read way too many Nancy Drew books. What if somebody fraudulently puts those fingerprints at a crime scene to pin somebody for a crime they didn't commit?
Or what if they figure out if there's kind of fingerprint scans for access to certain sensitive areas? What if they figure out which fingerprints are useful in which secure areas? I mean, I would think that there needs to be conversations, there probably are conversations going on within the intelligence community about taking new security measures in light of the breach that allowed ostensibly the Chinese to obtain all this personal information, including these fingerprints. I mean, it's
How did we let this happen?
Well, sleep at the switch. And there's a good piece in the Wall Street Journal about that very issue, cyber sleuths that have tracked the hacking to the Chinese military. And this is particularly timely because you have the Chinese President Xi Jinping that is in town this week for that state visit that Scott Walker suggested the president not provide. The White House has begun preparing a list of sanctions against Chinese companies U.S. officials have believed benefited from cyber theft of corporate secrets. And, of course, Eric Holder, you remember, he indicted in absentia 5 members, I think it was 5 members of the Chinese military for corporate espionage.
But yet we're having a state dinner for him this weekend at the White House. Makes no sense. Or are we going by the premise, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer?
Well, there's no doubt that you have to engage here. You have to engage the world, and that certainly includes China. But how you do it, how forceful you are, the kind of measures that you take in response to bad acts by communist China and its bad actors in the Politburo there is important. So it'll be very interesting to see what comes out of this. Maybe another reset, like the reset with Russia.
Oh, that's right.
Hasn't that worked out well as Russian armaments are rolling into Damascus?
The Chinese!
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A credit tip from Credit Sesame.
Did you know that your credit score dictates whether you can get a new car or a house? But there's no need to stress. Before applying for a mortgage, car loan, or credit card, you can check your credit score for free.
Yes, at Credit Sesame, we help turn your credit score into the key that unlocks the things you want, from a new car to a home. We give you a free credit score and so much more. You get free credit monitoring and alerts, personal loan analysis and recommendations, money management tips and tools, all to save you money and help you reach your goals. Plus, identity theft protection, absolutely free, no credit card required. Visit getcreditsesame.com. Get your credit score in seconds. So do more with your score. Get started today. Visit getcreditsesame.com. That's getcreditsesame.com. Getcreditsesame.com.
You've been thinking about switching to solar. Don't wait much longer or you'll miss out on this year's federal tax credit. Move quickly because the tide is turning. Solar power is becoming a threat to big energy profits. In fact, some power companies are even pushing for extra fees to make up for lost revenue. Warning, you must have your solar system up and running by midnight December 31st or you'll miss out on this year's federal tax credit. Energy prices are expected to increase by as much as 40% in the near future. Go solar now with no down payment, interest, or payments for a whole year. You can afford it because we finance. Get your government money and save big every month. Big Energy is getting nervous and the door of opportunity is about to slam shut. Paying $150 a month or more on energy bills? Then call 1-800-MY-SOLAR now for a free in-home assessment. 1-800-MY-SOLAR.
My home, my savings, 1-800-MY-SOLAR.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, now that the WNBA season's over for 2015, I want to tell you about something else you can see. For the first time ever on American soil, 2 European basketball teams will be facing off against each other right here in Chicago. Maccabi Tel Aviv will be taking on Olympia Milano. Both hold championship titles in their respective countries and 6 European titles for the Maccabi Tel Aviv team.
I'm just glad they're not coming here to play soccer.
Well, come show your support for Israel or Italy. October 1st at the United Center. Visit Ticketmaster.com or win tickets right now by being number... Wait, what was your basketball number?
12.
Boy. Okay, caller number 12. 312-642-5600. Caller number 12 gets 2 free tickets to the Tel Aviv Olympia Milano basketball game at the United Center October 1st. And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Hoopster Jacobson.
Guess who's telling Hillary to come clean or get out of the race? Bit surprising. We'll have it at 8:38.
And we're number 1 again, but not for a good reason. We'll explain why. Rats. But first, here's Mike Scott, who joins us in the newsroom. Good morning, Mike.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Clouds and sun, 62 degrees. The Pope at this moment being greeted by House Speaker John Boehner in the Speaker's office. Pope Francis is at the Capitol where he will deliver an historic address to a joint meeting of Congress. Timothy Cardinal Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, believes this speech will not be political.
I think he's going to praise the United States for what's always been our most noble and uplifting virtues in the world, and in the meantime offer a subtle examination of conscience, like we're going to say, uh-oh, are we living up to that?
Cardinal Dolan recently on NBC's Today Show. Authorities say now more than 700 have died in a stampede at the annual Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia. Today's tragedy is the deadliest to strike worshippers near the holy city of Mecca in more than 2 decades. 6 are dead, 7 are hurt after their SUV rolled during a police chase in South Texas. 4 died at the scene, 2 more died at area hospitals. First-time unemployment claims just ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street are up. Today's figures from the Labor Department show jobless claims nudging up 3,000 last week. The biggest increase in claims was in North Dakota. School remains closed today in Prospect Heights District 23. Teachers continue to be on strike. The union did not vote on the board's best and final offer on Wednesday. An investigation is underway after a father and daughter were found dead in Barrington in what authorities are calling a murder-suicide. Harry and Catherine Burrows were discovered Tuesday in their home. And a Chicago man is accused of helping a young area couple with a gruesome murder while they were vacationing in Bali, Indonesia. The FBI now says Robert Bibbs has been charged with conspiracy after advising his cousin, Tommy Schaefer, and his girlfriend, Heather Mack, on how to kill the woman's mother, Sheila Von Weiss Mack. Chicago sports, Tigers over the White Sox 7-4. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 4-1. And the news, a service of Think It Up. 8:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher exposes another double standard.
Any way you slice it, there is a real lack of accountability here with the Black Lives Matter movement.
There are people who should be held accountable for the deaths of police officers. If somebody as heinous as a cop killer was an activist with the Tea Party movement, you think that might get some attention from the news media?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Here's Dr. Howard, formulator of Balance of Nature, an all-natural, 100% organic fruit and vegetable supplement.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Get real today with Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
8:34 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has delays starting around Peterson. It's 35 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 40. The Kennedy slows Sayre all the way in, an hour and 5 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, a full hour from Manhunt, outbound 48 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 15 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Southbound jam, Bryn Mawr to Fullerton, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound tri-state delays are from around Southwest Highway to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, stop and go from the Fox River to 53, where the ramps are down to one lane. Reagan Tollway, slow 31 to Eola, York to the tri-state. Veterans Memorial, slow I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solutions provider. Partly sunny, pleasant, nice warm afternoon. High 74 and a mild night ahead, a low of 58. 61 at O'Hare, 63 along Chicago's lakefront. And your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I want to get to Hillary because of this piece that Ron Fournier wrote in National Journal, but I'm curious about Stephen Wayne. He may have some insight into Donald Trump. Has Donald Trump voted already? Steve in Wayne, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
First of all, great show. Listen to you guys every day.
Thank you.
I'm wondering, based on everything I've read and heard about Trump, who he voted for president in 2008. He seems to really dislike John McCain. And I would bet a lot of money that if he had to reveal who he voted for, the answer would be Obama. And if everybody had an apoplectic fit that Chris Christie hugged Obama, what would the reaction be if they found out Trump voted for Obama?
No, it's interesting.
Well,
Thanks for the call,
can't you
Steve.
only find out what kind of ballot they pulled, either a Democratic or Republican ballot for the primary?
Yes.
Isn't that a public record?
It is, but
not who you vote for in the general.
No, well, it's a secret ballot, of course. But
Sure. There are no secrets, Dan.
But
in many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
Yes.
There you go. Bingo.
But you can't ask Trump if he voted for Obama in 08 or 12. It would actually be kind of fun to have that question asked to him. I wonder what his response would be.
Well, he voted for Mitt Romney in the last election. I mean, because I remember him saying that, and he also donated money to his campaign.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. Just because he donated money doesn't mean he voted for Mitt.
Donated money to a lot of people because it's just business.
That's right. Because he's got he's a business guy. That's why he went to, he had Hillary Clinton go to his 5th wedding or 3rd wedding.
Right.
Because he's got to keep his friends close.
He's a rent seeker who hates rent seeking. No, I got it. I'm square with his world philosophy. So Hillary Clinton, wow. Everybody's calling it Carson, get out. It's like the left is always doing their Keith Olbermann impersonation. Everybody should resign their posts if you disagree with them. But Ron Fournier, who is definitely left center, he even said early in the campaign cycle that he considered going to work for Hillary Clinton.
Wow.
Fournier also has asked what I think is the best question of the cycle so far of Hillary. And he hasn't asked it to her. He hasn't had the opportunity, but I'd love to see him or somebody ask it to her. What would this Fournier's question? I wonder what the young Hillary Clinton, who was on the Watergate Investigative Committee as a young attorney, I wonder what she would say about today's Hillary Clinton. I think that is just an excellent question. Bookends what Hillary was and what she has become very nicely. But Fournier's piece is Hillary Clinton, come clean or get out, like of the race. The email scandal is a distraction from the important work of the Democrat Party. He suggests, Fournier does, that a distraction from the important work should be her campaign slogan at this juncture. And Fournier writes, if the Democrat Party cares to salvage a sliver of moral authority, its leaders and early state voters need to send Hillary Rodham Clinton an urgent message. Come clean or get out. Stop lying and deflecting about how and why you stashed State Department email on a secret server, or stop running.
I'm sorry about that.
Do you think she'll listen?
No.
Just kidding. She's marches through her own.
Yeah, she doesn't have any more comment at this time, but she'll be sure to circle back with an answer. And Fournier goes through the stories where Clinton lied, just straight up lied. State Department confirming Clinton turned over her email only after Congress discovered she had exclusively used a private email system. The story undercuts Clinton's claim that her decision to turn over self-selected email was a response to routine-sounding records requests. She hasn't been telling the truth. That's Fournier. And to his point, story today in the Washington Examiner, Clinton started editing emails 8 months earlier than thought. It was not the routine housekeeping inquiry. We've talked about this, but there's more here. Her aides, they give the timeline, which is nice because it's hard to remember all of this. Mm-hmm. Clinton and her aides began collecting private emails in February of last year, 8 months before the State Department formally requested copies of her work-related records. The process of separating her official communications from her personal ones, therefore, lasted nearly 10 months, as her aides did not provide 55,000 printed pages of emails to the State Department until December of 2014. They started in February. The emails provided not till December of 14. And on February, so a month after they the month they started, Clinton paid that tech company, that IT company in Colorado, Platte River Networks.
Yeah, how much?
To move. Well, it's not about how much. She paid them to move her emails onto a new server to set up a separate archive email box for her records. And then 2 weeks later, according to Ron Johnson, she paid the company to shift emails from the archives onto a new system. So they were starting to kind of get ahead of what they potentially anticipated by offloading all the emails that she didn't want to disclose. And this is what Fournier is talking about. This and despite it all, in a recent poll, in terms of head-to-head, it's like a statistical dead heat with Trump, and essentially statistical dead heat with most of the Republican contenders, at least contenders at this point, those that are in high single digits or double digits in the national polls. So it's just the intransigence of some people, or just their indifference to character. It's always staggering to me. Character doesn't matter in terms of a politician. It's just if he or she listens to me.
Well, I think the left sees this as an attack by the right to, try and bring her down.
Ron Fournier?
It's not, well, Ron Fournier is a great example of somebody on the left who's actually questioning her moral judgment, and good for him for doing it. But a lot of people, and you said this weeks ago, and it's so true, even if she was tearing the eyes out of kittens on Michigan Avenue, that would not be enough to get them to not vote for Hillary Clinton, to look for another candidate.
It's even worse than that. They'd be lining up for selfies, just as reporters
Really?
The
Oh,
impartial arbiters, the scriveners, just recording what occurs on the passing scene. The Des Moines prior to the Des Moines Register editorial board interview, journalists lining up to get selfies with Hillary Clinton. Ed Henry from Fox News tweeted this yesterday. They've got video of journalists lining up for selfies with Hillary Clinton before they're going to interview her.
So this is the new Hillary, because you think about what she did a few months ago. I think during the Labor Day parade, she put a rope around herself so that reporters couldn't get by her. I mean, that is psychotic. So you go from that kind of behavior to now taking selfies with reporters. That's not normal behavior. I know they wanted to roll out this new personality, this new breath of fresh air. Hillary, the more warm and fuzzy. Look, she's a grandma. She changes diapers. But come on, that is just sick that they allow reporters to do that.
I can't stay mad at her with that infectious laugh that she has. I mean, it's just...
It's a cackle.
It's like a breath of fresh air on a summer day. It's lovely. Lovely, lovely woman.
I hope I never sound like
But the reporters, that got, that were in that little rodeo of hers that got, hornswoggled, as it were. So who's the masochist here? Is it Hillary taking selfies with the reporters, or is it the reporters who don't care how they're treated, don't care how they're lied to, insulted, essentially, their intelligence insulted, and they line up for selfies with her? And just in case there was any question about the Fourth Estate being in the tank for the left, which it is, and it always has been, particularly inside the Beltway, but that also extends out to the political reporting that's done here in the scenic Midwest, starting in Des Moines, just in case there's any question of separation, even for appearance sake, even if it's not substantive separation, lining up for selfies before you're going to interview a candidate for president. Good optics.
I've never taken a picture with anyone.
Not voluntarily.
Well, I thought no one would ever see my emails.
I'm sorry about that.
Build me a private server just for me.
The server will remain private.
So now they're out to get me. Right-wing conspiracy. My campaign's coming apart at the seams. To save my lying face, now I'm a deleter.
I'm sorry about that.
Gone without a trace. Benghazi went fine. No secret Clinton cash. I'm a deleter. You won't know either, 'cause I wiped.
What, like with a cloth or something? Well, no.
Plenty of sunshine today to greet you on your Thursday work day. Or if you're staying at home, you should get out and enjoy, because we don't know how long this is going to last. High in the mid-70s. And then tomorrow, more of the same, partly sunny, nice and warm for the Cubs-Pirates 3-game series, which begins at Wrigley. A high of 74 as well. And on Saturday and Sunday, it looks great, pleasant with sunshine on both days. Highs in the upper 70s, low 80s out in the outlying areas. Let's get the travel times and see how the inbound Eisenhower, Edens, and Ike is doing. Here's Jim Talamonte with the answer.
Thanks, Amy. Still pretty heavy. And in Zion, there is a closure of Green Bay Road still between 9th Street and 173, so crews can wipe up or clean a fuel spill. Irving Park still closed in Itasca, Medina to 53 after a crash. The Kennedy is an hour from O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35 minutes. Edens, 35 minutes still. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 40 minutes. And the inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound it's 48 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 17 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. There is some debris on the roadway or something there at California, partly blocking two right lanes. The outbound side is clearing up. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, still pretty slow going, approaching 53 due to some road work on the exit ramps. The delays there start around 25. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Vast right-wing conspiracy.
Well, I got a great night's sleep last night, all thanks to MyPillow from MyPillow. It conforms to my neck and back. It helps if you have chronic neck and back pain. If you have problems snoring, I suggest trying a MyPillow. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee. I love mine. Can't live without it. And thousands of you have already purchased My Pillows over the last 18 months, and you're enjoying your best sleep ever. But that still leaves thousands of you who haven't taken advantage of the buy one, get one free offer. What are you waiting for? It's so important to get a great night's sleep. My Pillow also helps with allergies and, as I mentioned, snoring and insomnia. My Pillow is washable. It keeps its shape to give you the support where you need it most. The official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, American made. For the My Pillow buy one, get one free offer, just visit mypillow.com, type in Amy in the promo code, or call this number, 800-489-0201. Do it now, 800-489-0201, or online at mypillow.com, promo code Amy, 800-489-0201.
This is Dan Proft with an Upstream idea, brought to you in part by the Illinois Opportunity Project. 6,963. Illinois has 6,963 local units of government, meaning 6,963 taxing bodies, more than any other state in the nation, and it's not even close. Texas has the second most units of government with twice the population of Illinois, but with 25% fewer taxing bodies. So when politicians tell you that Illinois state income tax is about the middle of the pack nationally, they're characteristically not telling you the whole story. What they don't tell you is that you pay the highest real estate taxes in the country, something you may have guessed from a perusal of the number of taxing bodies listed on your property tax bill. The challenge in Illinois is not simply to reduce tax rates, but to reduce the number of taxing bodies. Most of the taxing bodies take a small cut that goes largely unnoticed, which goes to serve a concentrated minority interest of politicians and taxpayers, trumping the diffuse interests of the majority. And so the actual elimination of a layer of government is exceedingly rare. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
You know what I love about summer? Baseball. You know what I love about baseball? It's a game of probability. You know what I love about my team? Not much, because baseball is a game of probability. The odds of our starting pitcher lasting 3 innings? Slim. The likelihood we'll be mathematically eliminated before July? High. Okay, so maybe I'm not a fan of the probability of my team going above 500. But I am a fan of the fact that with some planning and a little help, I was able to influence the probability that I could retire and stay retired. Maybe our pitcher should consider retirement. Just saying.
Ready to make the game-changing decision to put a plan in place for your retirement? The Mutual Fund Store can help you do just that. Connect with us today for a free review of your investment portfolio or a second opinion on your investments. The person you'll be having a cup of coffee with is right here.
Hi, I'm Steve Jack with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Nice rat.
Dan, you had a rat tail, didn't you, in high school?
Round and round. Yeah.
Comes around, goes around.
Yeah, I got my tight pants on for this song.
Well, it's always good to be number one because, you know, if you're not first, you're last. But a list came out a few days ago, actually yesterday, about who has the rattiest city in America. I didn't even know that was a word, but yes, Orkin released the list of its top 20 rattiest cities, and it may come as no surprise that Chicago is number one on that list.
Now that Henry Waxman retired as Congressman of California, he had a little rat face, that guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, Chicago, number one. Funny you should mention L.A. They came in second place. In third, Washington, D.C. New York came in fourth, and I thought for sure New York would be number one because I remember back when we were in show choir, we had a show in New York, and I saw the biggest rat of my life. It was the size of one of those purse dogs that people carry around, you know, those celebrities. So, yeah, New York came in number 4, San Fran, number 5, Seattle, Detroit.
Sure, wait, New York. Have you seen what's going on, the viral video going around, the pizza rat?
I saw that. Yeah, my kids and I,
we
watched that.
A rat taking a full piece of that terrible paper-thin New York pizza down the steps to the subway to take it home to his rent-controlled apartment.
I love that video.
I mean, it's a full slice.
I know. It wasn't just a bit of the pizza. I saw it. And the slice was bigger than the rat itself. And he's trying to labor it down the steps.
Yeah, he's just right there, the rat, with the rest of the commuters. I mean, just kind of going about his business completely unintimidated by his surroundings. So you tell me what's the rattiest city. And frankly, Chicago has alleys. I mean, New York is it's got garbage strewn everywhere because they don't have alleys. So that that was
one of the blessings of the Chicago fire, because after the Chicago fire, that's when we formed alleys. But The
We
alleys,
need a rats here because we need to turn them into taxpayers.
exactly, but rats eat 15 to 20 times a day. That's why some people see them in their homes.
Yeah, but small portions. It's all about portion control.
That's right. They like to snack those little rats. But it's dangerous for pregnant women and young children because they carry disease and their fecal matter in the urine.
No.
Well, come on. But this is the time of year when the temperatures start dropping and, right before winter arrives that we're going to see the most rats. And they can get into your home. All it takes is the size of a quarter. A quarter for a rat to squeeze inside.
You know, it's a fun thing to do, and I'm not a hillbilly, but I've got a friend who does this. Sit out like a back porch in an alley and go plinking, go rat plinking.
What you mean with an air gun? What does rat plinking mean?
Air gun or whatever.
BB gun? Yeah, but they're wily little fellas. I mean, they run pretty quick.
Can't outrun a bullet.
Well, I don't know. I had I hate to say I had a rat in my house. Ugh. And that was
As a pet?
No, Dan, as an uninvited guest. And
excuse me, undocumented?
He was about this big. No, he was about 12 inches long. It was so disgusting. So the next day I bought cats, and that is the best rat abatement program anybody can get involved in. I have not had a rat since in my house.
Yeah.
I had Orkin come over, and then they clogged up the little, the quarter size holes where they can sneak in. And every day I am blessed with rats that are killed, and my cats bring them to me in the backyard. And one day I had just a pile of them. I think it was 4 or 5 of them piled up on top of each other that my cats brought back.
But then the obvious question is, what do you do to abate the cats?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Our event is going well. I just wish they wouldn't have used the plastic tablecloths.
The food looks like it's been under the heat lamp for an hour.
I can't believe they didn't have room to seat the accounting department at the last minute.
When you plan a corporate event, wedding, or social gathering, you have that picture-perfect image in your head of what it's supposed to look like. At Belvedere Banquets, they bring the shining elegance you expect to see downtown right to the suburbs. From their photogenic lobby fountain to their 5-star quality food options, Belvedere Banquets has your next big event covered in shimmering excellence. They can even bring their top-notch catering right to you. It's time to host an event that leaves everyone in awe at a price that can accommodate budgets for groups of 12 to 1,000. Call 847-534-0600 or visit their beautiful website at belvederebanquets.com. Get the positive event planning experience you deserve for your next occasion. 847-534-0600 or belvederebanquets.com.
When you buy a new house, you don't buy the first one you see. When you sell your house, you don't choose the first real estate broker you hear about. You choose the agent backed by the most powerful brand in real estate, and that agent is Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. Ed doesn't need to offer gimmicks like promising to buy your home because he can't sell it or 24-hour listing agreements. Ed does offer the promise of hard work and an aggressive, innovative marketing plan to sell your home. The most compelling reason to call RE/MAX Professionals is the best. Ed Lukasik Jr. has closed over 1,600 homes since 2008, giving him the knowledge and experience most agents can't obtain in their whole career. The average real estate agent closes 7 homes a year. Guess what? Ed sold 229 listings in just the past year alone. So make the right choice. Choose RE/MAX Professionals to list your home. Get an in-person market analysis straight from Ed. Just call him 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
If you're ready to drop your phone plan due to dropped connections, now is the time. It's the grand opening of Wireless Zone in Westmont from 5 to 8 p.m. on Thursday the 24th. Make the switch and keep your current numbers for your cell and home phone. Plus, get a $300 activation credit. The Westmont mayor will be on site, along with reps from your favorite product lines. A raffle, refreshments, and prizes lead the grand opening of Wireless Zone. 131 West Ogden in Westmont at 5 p.m. on Thursday the 24th. 630-541-3461.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Dennis Prager validates his opinion of Hillary Clinton.
Here's one of the funniest articles that was not meant to be funny that I have read in a long time. Asked to name something tangible that Hillary Clinton has actually accomplished, many voters come up blank. Is that hilarious? That is a news story from the Washington Post. I've said that the whole time. The woman has accomplished nothing.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
So the bottom line is, excuse me, if you have rats, get a cat. Okay, Dan?
And if you have cats, get a life.
Meow, meow. Our thanks to David Stripling, the technical director, Cesar Perez, the executive producer.
Shake and bake.
And for you for making us a part of your morning every day. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 a.m. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and get the latest from Mike Scott.
The very latest on news from Peoria this morning, where Caterpillar says it is cutting 5,000 jobs. High Legionella bacteria levels in cooling systems causing schools to close in Elgin. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Church meets state.
Your Holiness, welcome.
House Speaker Boehner greeting Pope Francis.
Pope's not too happy because he didn't want fences up in New York, and they're putting 25,000 miles of fences up that are 8 feet high, and then they're going to break them down and ship them to Philly. Crazy.
So we have Bob Gilligan at 6:38. Our weekly with Brett Bayer is going to be at 7. Do you want me to reach out to another Pope person besides Bob Gilligan?
Well, Ahern's on at 7:35.
Or have Mary?
Yeah, that's what Marcus said yesterday. Okay. I moved her, but I can. Okay. Do you want her at 8:35? That'll be 9:30 New York time.
I don't care.
Well, should we spread out the interviews? What time's the other Pope person coming?
Gilligan's on at 7. I mean, at 6:30. So maybe they
Oh.
Put her at 8:30. Okay. Or we just leave her at 7:30.
Oh, and then Great America, 8:45. Fright Fest.
So then keep her at 7:30.
Yeah. Okay. Hope she can do it. If she, for some reason, she can't, then I'll just text you guys.
We're going to have Gilligan 6:38, Brett Bayer 7:08, Ahern 7:38, Great America Guy 8:45. Do we want to? You mentioned the 2016 talker. We all want him out in.
We can do it with Bear.
Okay.
We'll see if anything local happens.
And then Reverend Dimas Salaveros. Did you guys get that email from Phil Boyce?
Phil Boyce, yeah.
No.
We're going to have that guy on, so I'm going to try to put him on.
Who?
Or Monday. What about Monday?
Salaveros?
Who the hell is that?
Did you get the email?
No.
Sent an email to all of us.
I didn't get an email.
Really? You're on the chain, I thought.
If I went to my Salem account, I never check it, so I don't know.
You know what? Here, I'll forward it to you.
So if you guys are fine with...
I think there's a lot to...
No, I'm saying if you guys are fine with the back-to-back in the 8, I could just put him at 8:38. The Dimas Pastor Dimas Salaveros.
Well, what's the topic?
I would wait till. I mean, do we have to have him this week? Can't we have him next week?
Email said he wanted to have him this week. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read email.
Forward it to Dan.